What is up, everyone, and welcome to the WAN Show. I've been called a hater so many times for calling out the obviously misleading statements from one Tesla CEO, Elon Musk, but apparently even he agrees with me now because he tweeted out earlier this week that full self-driving may have some significant challenges working on their hardware 3.0. Also in the news this week, let's see. Oh man, this app company is installing cameras in nightclubs that anyone can tune into. That's a service they offer.
Wow, that sounds horrible for like a variety of reasons.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. What else we got this week?
Nintendo says, well, there's challenging scalpers outright. I'll talk about that.
Come at me, bro.
They're like, you won't be able to. That'll be interesting. Also, I don't know, man. Apple delists VPNs in Russia?
Yeah.
That sucks.
So Apple never cared about your privacy.
Yeah.
The show is brought to you today by EcoFlow, Squarespace, Corsair, and of course, our chair partner, Secret Lab. You can check them all out down below. This is great. Just Only 53 goes, never thought Zuck would be my favorite billionaire. I mean, he's definitely got the image kind of cleaned up lately, but let's not forget that the Zuck is imperfect at best.
You should always remember the quote from back when he was at, I think, Harvard, when he was talking to his friend about how, or whoever it was, that he can get them basically whatever information he wants on basically any student at the school. And the guy was like, why'd they give you all this information? He's like, I don't know, they're idiots or whatever. I guess they trust me. They're idiots or something like that.
Yeah. Pretty good. Anywho, let's have a look at our source for this full self-driving.
Oh, it's way worse than that. They trust me, dumb.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's that guy. Just don't forget. Anyways.
All right, so one Mr. Elon Musk X'd. Sorry for the delay. This release has had far fewer interventions, but suffered in driving smoothness. Part of the issue was too much training on interventions and not enough on normal driving. So this is something I've talked about a fair bit before, where it's not, can you go down the street and then hang a left and then hang a right and then pull into a driveway? That's not the hard part. That's not the challenge we're solving right now. The challenge we're solving right now is the edge cases. And that's where and I've talked about this before, there was just absolutely no way, even if they were an order of magnitude ahead of the competition back when the hardware 3.0 was released, there was absolutely no way that they were going to be able to achieve true autonomy with that level of hardware. Continuing to read his tweet. It's like a doctor training too much on patients in the emergency room versus training on preventative care. Our next-gen AI model after this has a lot of promise, approximately 5x increase in parameter count, which is very difficult to achieve without upgrading the vehicle inference computer. So it's that last little bit that I've kind of been looking at going, so we're finally acknowledging this now, because for years now, the official stance of Tesla, which doesn't have a PR department anymore because I guess they're just not accountable to the press or the public. The official stance of Tesla, which has basically just been whatever Elon Musk tweets, has been that hardware 3.0, which they began shipping when? I think it was like 5 years ago. Might have been more than that. First shipping. No. Yeah, I can't immediately find this right now. As of mid-April 2019.
Yeah.
So this was about 5 years ago. They started shipping hardware 3.0, and they said at the time, anything with this level of hardware will be capable of full self-driving with an upgrade.
Was that during the window of time where he had to bring the company to a certain point for him to get that like insane payment package?
I'm not sure, but it's interesting that you bring that up because I do not see how there's not going to be an enormous reckoning. They have sold millions upon millions upon millions of vehicles since that time that they have told people are going to be capable of fully autonomous driving. I mean, remember when on a regular basis, this company talked about how your Tesla is going to make you money passively, ferrying people around while you're at work.
I love that idea.
I love the idea too. It's a great idea.
It really is.
That's a dystopia I wouldn't mind living in, to be perfectly honest with you. But it was obviously not true, even at the time. And as we went on, it became more and more obvious, and yet they didn't acknowledge it. They still haven't acknowledged it in any official capacity, other than this, tacked on comment at the end of a tweet that I am very surprised that more people aren't talking about, and that more people aren't extremely upset about.
Me too.
I mean, this is right on the heels of the Tesla shareholders voting to approve that, what was it, like $56 billion pay package or whatever it was. Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. This likely means that the past stated plans to upgrade Hardware 3 cars to full self-driving via a software upgrade are not feasible. It is unclear at this time if this will also be a problem for Hardware 4, which my understanding is extremely powerful, quite a bit more powerful than the 3.0 hardware, but not nearly as powerful as the upcoming 5-level hardware.
Hardware 4 started shipping in January 2023.
January 2023. Oh, wow. Oh, that was that recent?
Yeah.
Okay, so only about the last year and a half. But something to note about Hardware 4 is we don't have a good idea of what its capabilities are, because right now, Hardware 4 cars are operating in kind of like a Hardware 3 mode. So they're using like downscaled imagery or something like that, and the models are still small enough to fit on Hardware 3, because splitting their development to working on to training models for two completely different target devices has not made economic sense, especially since, as far as I can tell, in fairness to Tesla, their goal still has been to earnestly work on trying to achieve full self-driving on Hardware 3. It's just that it wasn't possible because we weren't even close yet.
Yeah.
We weren't even close yet. So that's a bummer. I'm sorry that you got bamboozled. What I want to know now, and the main reason that I'm bringing this up is not to dunk on Tesla, because this is not something new for me to be talking about here. The main reason that I'm bringing this up is that I want to see what the accountability is going to be for companies that do this, that advertise a feature.
Yeah, like is this a false advertising? It should be.
But what is the actual consequences for false advertising?
Features.
Like, Luke, where were the consequences for Google when they got into that tiff with Sonos and just removed features that they advertised on their smart speakers?
Totally agreed. Yeah.
Where is the real meaningful compensation for that happening? And guys, I'm sure that the chat is going to start flooding with examples of times that these major companies, we're not talking about companies that are making an existential choice, right? Like if I'm Joe's startup, okay, and I've released this product and it had this feature, and then I get hit by a major lawsuit from Amazon or someone, like someone with just colossal resources that could squish me like a bug, just keep me in litigation hell forever. And I basically go, okay, look, guys, here's the situation.
Bankruptcy or compliance.
We've got to turn this off, or we're done, we're out. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it.
We turn this off, or we turn everything off.
Exactly. We are not talking about that sort of a situation. Someone like a Google could pay. They could pay temporarily to license the feature, or they could continue to keep it on the devices and pay whatever fines and penalties, or they could.
And if they win the case, they could sue for those back or whatever.
Yep. Or they could recall. They could recall the device. That's totally an option.
Yeah.
You can recall something. You can offer people a refund, which in my mind is the most possible financial liability that you should ever have for a product that you're selling. as long as it doesn't destroy something else at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like if I sell you this microphone and it stops working, or it stops working the way you desire,
certain mode that I like,
and I remove that mode.
Yeah.
I think the most financial liability I could possibly have is the price of this microphone. Okay, so let's see. Have you guys hit us with some other examples here? Oh, surprisingly, you didn't.
I'm not seeing a lot.
Spotify dropping car thing in less than 2 years. Yeah, bricking the device was really, really bad. Waymo just had a car drive in oncoming traffic. Okay, all right. Well, never mind. What would be your ideal consequence for this? Like, what should let's come back to Tesla now. They sold two things, right? Realistically, they sold a car that was capable of full self-driving, but capable with a software package that not everybody opted for. And then they sold a software package as a beta. So I'm sure if you get right into the T's and C's, they covered their butts and made it clear that this was aspirational, but they charged enough money for it. I mean, it was priced anywhere between like $5,000 and $10,000 at various points in the past 5 years, right? So they sold this software package that theoretically had the capability of achieving full autonomy. So there's almost two different customers we're talking about here. The ones with the hardware platform that is supposed to be upgradable too, but maybe they haven't paid into and therefore maybe aren't really entitled to complain in the same way.
I don't think so much.
And then you've got the people who actually bought the functionality, but who, I think Tesla would be very quick to point out, but who have been enjoying this beta functionality all this time for all the limitations that it might have. What are they entitled to? What should they be entitled to? If you could write the law for selling something based on false promises.
I feel like if it was very clear that a false promise had been made, those users should be available for a full refund. I don't think the company should have to automatically full refund everyone, because there might be people that are happy, like you said, with the thing that they got and they don't care about that particular feature. And they might not want a refund, they might just want their thing. But the people that get the full refund should lose access to the thing as well. Because I'm trying to think more broadly for like what other companies this could possibly happen to. But so they should be able to have like a retroactive way after the date refund if they want it, but they should probably have to give the thing back.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
so like
yeah,
if it's a software upgrade,
sure,
you lose the software upgrade, but you can get a full refund of the price that you originally paid.
Okay, but what about the car?
That part, yeah, I don't know.
Because
it's like I'm trying to think of other scenarios, and there's definitely times where you might buy an Xbox.
Yeah, I was going there. I was going GTA 6.
Yeah.
If
you might buy an
Sony
Xbox
said,
for GTA 6.
Buy a PlayStation 5 right now.
It'll be the best platform for GTA 6.
You're going to play GTA 6.
Yeah.
And GTA 6 doesn't come out
Microsoft
for the PlayStation
makes some
5.
exclusivity deal.
Sure. Whatever goes down.
I might want to be able to return my PlayStation. If the reason why I bought the console is the future of that game. If I'm like, I'm going to buy a console now, I'm going to buy one of them. I want it mainly for this game, but I'm going to buy it now, play some games up until then, whatever. I would be pretty frustrated.
But should they be entitled...
I'm not sure how to compensate those
Should
people.
they be entitled to account for depreciation? Because if I'm Tesla, I could be looking at a car that is 5 years old that I'm like, what? I'm buying back at full retail price? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you drove it.
Who defines... So this is an issue that I have with understanding automotive stuff. Who defines depreciation? Is that Blue Book? There's like a central body that does it, right?
I got to be honest with you.
You don't know.
I don't know who Blue Book is.
Oh, okay.
But they do it. But are they a government agency?
I don't know.
I actually have no idea who Blue Book is.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know who like runs that.
Yeah. And even then,
like can that group of people be easily Auto Nation? Who's that?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's hilarious. And guys, Blue Book is
it's a car dealership company.
Yeah, okay. And Blue Book is I've found values in there that are so far off. Like so far off meaningful that I just wouldn't trust it at all, and just is irrelevant to me.
Because I'd want it to be not like Tesla that decides.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, Tesla is full of shit, as we've heard. Top Gear 1224, I forgot about this. Tesla literally told people, buy now before the price increases. Like, once everybody figures out what a great deal this is to get a fully autonomous car.
Okay, people kept on saying Kelly owns it. Kelly founded it. Kelly Blue Book is owned by Cox Automotive. COX Automotive. No idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the right solution is. Like, I feel like I should be entitled to something, and not like a $12 check from a class action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the class action checks where the lawyers take all the money anyways are always so disappointing.
That system is so broken.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating to me that nobody who's in a position to fix it seems to treat it like a priority, or not even priority, as something that even is a problem. Like, it is mind-blowing to me whenever I go down to the States, how much of the billboard and TV advertisement space is taken up by lawyers. Because the math is simple, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
A law firm cannot afford to spend on advertising more than, in the long term anyway, more than they bring in revenue, right? It must be significantly less than they bring in revenue, which tells you how big that industry is in America. The fact that they can spend so much on, and like, how many people even get in a car accident? And yet I can't drive from the airport to my hotel without seeing 32 billboards for what happens in case I get in a car accident driving from the airport to the hotel. It's wild.
Some of them are super specific too, which I find always to be interesting. Did you get injured in this really weird, specific, odd way that you've never heard of before? Call me. I specialize in that.
It's like, okay. Something random says, well, they should just have to upgrade the computers in the cars. And that's a potential solution here. But, I mean...
if they did that, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, but at what point... Okay, tell me this, though. If I'm Tesla... should I be on the hook for upgrading some car forever that you've been driving forever?
I mean, if you said it was going to work,
I
think
guess
it's one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. Maybe you just shouldn't promise things that you can't deliver, I guess.
Yeah.
Then's the consequences. I mean, as long as if they offered an option, like, hey, we'll buy it back at market value, or we'll upgrade it,
yeah,
or
that seems fine to me.
What are the odds they do any of this?
0. I have no faith. If they did it, then that's fantastic, right? I
will be the first to talk about what a cool and amazing company Tesla is if they actually deliver on full autonomy for those hardware 3.0 vehicles in any way, shape, or form. So if they somehow manage to create a magic model that works on them, then I will. And it actually gets certified at, what was it, like level 4 was what they were targeting? I forget the exact details. Level 4 autonomous cars. What's level 4? Let me double check.
Like double layered.
Level 4 is considered to be fully autonomous driving. If they can actually achieve level 4 autonomy with the current hardware, I'll be the first to say I was wrong. I suck. I owe Tesla and Elon Musk personally an apology. And you know what? I'll say the same thing. If to no cost to Tesla owners, they upgrade the hardware to something that can do it, I don't think they will. I mean, that would
be cool though. If they did that, that'd be cool.
We have a long history of this company's management shortchanging people, whether it's not paying rent on the buildings, for some stupid social media company they acquire, or whether it's, stiffing people on their expected payouts for their severance, like whatever it is. There's a long history here of just kind of being a nozzle. So good luck, everyone. Sorry, y'all.
Here's an interesting one. Shraff2K in Floatplane chat said, what about the Cyberpunk edition Xboxes sold that can't play the 2.0 update or expansion?
Ooh.
Because that's an interesting one. Because
that's really interesting.
At the time that they sold...
That's not on Microsoft or Sony at that point.
At the time that they sold, I'm sure they could play all of what Cyberpunk offered.
Yes.
But then the software updated.
But tell me this. If I'm the console manufacturer and all that ever goes gold on my platform is the shipping disk, which, I mean, it's a miracle that went gold in that case at all, but that's a whole separate conversation. How could I possibly be liable for some future update that the game manufacturer rolls? And in this case, I don't see how anything would prevent the manufacturer, would prevent the console maker from basically saying, like, yeah, we're not going to accept any future updates to this game on these platforms, as long as, you, CD Projekt Red, make sure that the highest level that they were certified to run remains available on them. I mean, I see an easy solution that doesn't leave anybody holding a bag there. So you get what you paid for, and you don't get less, but you don't get more.
Yeah.
You don't get any new content or anything like that.
Interesting. Sheesh. I mean, I'd be pretty annoyed.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed too. But like,
I have a feeling you'd have a really
realistically,
hard time reselling it at any good value.
but there's a lot of precedent for this already too.
Yeah.
Like, look at Minecraft. If you like, exactly, right? You see where I'm going with this. Like,
Yeah.
there is no way. Look at World of Warcraft. Would you
Yeah.
seriously buy World of Warcraft today
I
and
wonder.
expect to run it on a Pentium 3?
I was going to say, I wonder. I mean, I don't think you'd even be able to install it,
No, you wouldn't.
because you'd have to install it on like XP. I have screenshots of WoW on XP. So like,
Here's the original system requirements.
let's go.
Found this on Imgur. Here we go.
2004.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice
Oh man, I
black
nailed
and white
it.
photo.
Here we go. Pentium 3 800 megahertz or AMD Duron 800 megahertz, 256 megabytes.
Yes.
Megabytes of RAM.
Let's
okay?
go.
Recommended GeForce FX 5700 class card or above. Man, ATI, dude, always got such a they always got this shaft, man. In the GeForce 5000 era, the FX series was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And still, they couldn't arse themselves to put an AMD equivalent card in here. They couldn't put 9600, Radeon 9600 in here.
I
There's
had an ATI card back then.
no acknowledgement of AMD, or ATI rather, before AMD acquired them. No acknowledgement of ATI whatsoever. That is just, man, no wonder they just never... No wonder they have never managed to get there. I think their discrete card market share is down close to 10% now. Like, I think it's between 10 and 20%. Like, they are just a complete non-factor.
You're still running yours, yeah?
Yeah.
No driver issues?
Still running 7900 XTX.
No driver issues?
I haven't had really any issues with it at all,
Nice.
to be honest with you, other than when a bunch of water spilled through it.
Well, that's...
Recently, that happened again. This time it wasn't my fault, but
Wait, is it still alive?
yeah, it lived.
Wow.
Whole system lived. Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
Both servers lived, mostly. One of them, a bunch of the NVMe bays in the front are dead.
Okay. You can probably get a replacement part
You know
for
what? I guess it's story time. It's story time. So I came home the night after the day that I found out about my sister's death. I came home after WAN Show that night, and I had a very challenging 24 hours already. And I heard I was getting some food, or I was about to get some food, and no one else was home yet, so the house was empty. I kind of come in. I was going to get some food, and I heard a weird whining noise. Like something like that.
That needs checking in on.
And I was like, well, where's that coming from? I go into the computer room upstairs. I go, okay, yeah, no, I don't see anything in here. And, but it's louder in here. And then it dawned on me, it's because it's under me. So I went down into the basement, got louder and louder. I got into the mechanical room. Oh no, the loop for the systems. So there's two loops in there. One loop goes to a heat exchanger and out to the pool. And the other loop goes to the heat exchanger and goes to the systems. Okay. So it's the loop that's going to the systems that is running dry. So I immediately pull the plug on the pump. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, why is this reservoir...
Pumps running dry can be super bad for them.
Why is this reservoir empty? And I go, well, maybe it evaporated. Like maybe it evaporated and got an air bubble because it's not empty, right? And I was like, yeah, I noticed the coolant was a little low, but like I thought realistically, you get a little bit of evaporation. But I didn't think it was that. Yeah, I didn't think we were that close, right? Like I would have topped it up. And I go, okay, so there must be a leak. Where is it? And that's when I realized that the server rack had peed itself. So it was it was gallons of water. And what happened was...
The fact that gallons of water went through that rack and not...
Hold on, we're getting to that. Okay. So at the bottom of my rack, I have a lead-acid battery UPS from Eaton. Above that, I have a lithium battery UPS from Eaton. Above that, I have an air-cooled hard drive server from 45 Drives, Storinator. Above that, I have an air-cooled NVMe server. It's like ancient Wannik. It's like Xeon V3 or something like that.
Nice.
Or V4 maybe. I think it might be V3. Anyway, it's that weird Simply double one that has two 24 bay things, one in the front and then the lift up one in the back. That's an important detail for later. Above that is Yvonne's water-cooled but self-contained. It's not cooled by the whole loop. So self-contained water-cooled gaming rig for you. My one that it has a valve in it, so it can be self-contained if I needed to like go to a LAN or something. But it could also be just the valve can be opened and it can be run through the pool loop. Not the pool loop, the internal loop to the heat exchanger. And then above that are the 5 1Us for the LAN center. So I started at the bottom. Pulled out the UPS. The lead acid one was off, obviously. So I pulled that out, tipped it. Water just comes out of it. Like, okay, well, that's a bad sign. Don't you have a saltwater pool? Okay, for the love of God. Guys, there's 2 loops, okay? One loop out to the pool, and it doesn't take in pool water, okay? It goes to a heat exchanger. There's another loop that's just inside. It's running regular water with some iodine in it. It's fine.
The tubes that go to the pool are sealed, and they go around the walls of the pool to take the
floor.
heat.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't go into the water of the pool.
There's no pool water anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, relax. I'm not saying it went well. I'm just saying I'm not a f***ing idiot. I do this for your entertainment. Are you not entertained?
There's a new Gladiator filming or something. I don't know about that.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I pull out the lithium one, which is still on, by the way, at this stage in the game. It's wet on top, and I'm like, okay, let's get this unplugged, get this battery out, immediately.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking my time here because I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to think about what happens if all of this is dead at this stage that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Pull out Yvonne's machine, tilt the water off it. Pull out my machine, tilt the water out of it. I'm like stacking up computers around the room on their sides so that water will drain out of them at this point. So I start pulling out machines. It's the third one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third one out of the 1Us that somehow the fitting corroded off a block. So it was literally just gushing water out into this system.
Yeah.
This was not a leak. This was a nozzle.
It was fully flowing. The faucet was on.
Yeah, pretty much. Where was I going with this?
You just pulled that system out, the third 1U system.
Why did I start story time, though? The 7900 XTX is still running fine. Oh, yeah. Right. So let's continue telling the story. Okay, so I pull the system out, and I realize, holy crap. Yeah, all those gallons of water went straight through the rack. So any screw holes in the top and bottom of any systems, it went through. So I start looking more closely at everything that I've pulled out. There's puddles of water or beaded water on motherboards. Thankfully, most things missed power supplies for the most part, which would be a more catastrophic situation. Like you can have a short on a motherboard and kill a motherboard. You can have a short in a power supply and burn down the building.
Yeah, that's
it's a lot worse, right? So I got everything out, and I kind of went, it's time to go get that food that I needed.
It's all off now.
Yeah, it's off now.
Yeah.
Nothing's in any immediate danger of being on fire.
Yep.
So the Wi-Fi is still working. That's at the top of the rack. So none of my family's going to complain about any of this. Well, actually, the kids are pretty upset that their gaming rigs don't work, but we'll get to that later. And then the next day, I come back. It's a weekend, thankfully. It's Saturday. So I start to put things back together. I put the battery back in the bottom UPS, and I kind of go, okay, she's dead, Jim. Now, interestingly, I found one of the same model on eBay that obviously is like shipping damaged as crap. Like the chassis is so busted, but they claim works for $500. Which is like a tenth of what it's worth. And I thought that might actually be kind of a fun video, resurrecting my water-damaged UPS. But it could be kind of niche. I don't know. Anyway, I was really tempted to buy it. And eBay's got a feature now where you look at something and then go away from it. And like the seller can send you an offer. So they offered me 10% off it. So it could be even less than $500. I was thinking about it. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm thinking about it.
It's a kind of neat feature, actually.
So I put that back in.
We know you'd watch Floatplane.
Yeah, I know you guys.
You guys will watch everything.
So I put that back in, and I'm like, okay, this clearly isn't working. So I don't even have the like NEMA whatever 4-prong stupid connector now to power my PDU. So that's my fancy power bar that goes at the back of the rack, or to go into my 208 volt. Is it 208 or 240 volt on that one? 230. I can't remember, but my 200 plus volt outlet that I have at the back of the rack. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to run to the office and get like an adapter majig, or I'm gonna have to find something, or I'm gonna have to go get a PDU that. Oh wait, no, I realized I was an idiot because I could have just plugged my PDU directly into the wall. That was funny. Look, I was not in a great state of mind. So then I find that the lithium one turns out is way better sealed. Probably because of the lithium batteries. It's actually IP rated, not for water, but for dust.
Oh.
But if you have a dust IP,
sense.
Yeah, you're probably sealed a little better than something that just like doesn't have an IP rating.
Yeah.
Fired up immediately. Totally worked fine. Kept a very close eye on it for many hours. And it's working now. So we're 50-50 so far for survival. Now I turn my attention to the hard drive server. This has my on-site redundant copy of everything that's on the NVMe server. However, it's been a while since I've like manually copied it, and my automation stopped working at some point a while back, and I was like, I will deal with this, and then I didn't. Anyway, you know how the mechanic with the broken car.
Oh, speaking of fixing things like that thing that you have me CC'd on to fix, I took you out of the loop so we'd stop spamming you, but it's moving forward.
That's super cool. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Anyway, so the hard drive machine, I look through it and I'm like, okay, water only ended up on the motherboard, which means that worst case scenario, I pop all these hard drives into a different chassis, or I replace the motherboard, and we're probably off to the races. But hey, who knows? Press the power button. She fires up immediately. Couldn't believe it. There were puddles of water on that motherboard. Puddles, sir.
This whole story is so interesting to me because in early 2000s, if this happens, they would all be dead. Any amount of water on the board is dead immediately.
So much resiliency these days.
Amazing.
Okay. I plug in the NVMe server because I'm at a 66% success rate.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. They be survivors, right?
Yeah.
So I plug in the NVMe server. This has the most recent copy of everything. 0 drives detected, which is good news.
Because it's not like half of them or a couple or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's running a RAID Z2 of some sort. I think I can sustain 2 failures, and it's like a super wide stripe because YOLO. Anyway, the point is, not a single drive's detected. Now, this is a lot less convenient to move to a different chassis. I mean, where am I going to get a computer that can accept 24 NVMe drives?
Yeah.
But I had an idea. Okay, if it's a backplane that's dead, what if I crack open the chassis, throw it on the test bench, open up that middle bay of 24 drives, and start throwing them in there? First drive, lights up. Put all 24 drives in. So tedious. And like the tension's pretty high, right? So, oh my God, this is taking so long. Yeah. So I put in all the drives, I fire it up, and the pool doesn't show up. But that's okay because ZFS thing. So I'm able to just re-import or whatever the terminology is, and server survives. We're at a 75% survival rate here, folks.
We have a component dead in one of them, but nothing too serious.
I actually lied about the order a little bit. The first thing that I did after I got power back to the rack was I checked Yvonne's machine because she had to get some work done, and hers worked. So, sorry. We are at now like 80-something,
Sure.
low percent survival rate.
Yeah.
Next, my gaming rig goes in, no problem. Next two, and then this was where I actually found out which rig was dead because I popped number 5 back in, I popped number 4 back in, and then number 3 was the one that didn't appear to have water on it from the top, but
that's where the fitting corroded right off.
That was the first one that I wanted to that I opened up because mine and Yvonne's rigs could run self-contained, so I didn't have to turn the loop back on yet. So I didn't test 5, I didn't test 4, I opened up 3. And that's where I found the fitting that corroded off. I opened up the block, and there's a whole bunch of buildup there. So something, galvanic corrosion was happening somehow within that block, and I'm still waiting to hear back from EK on what exactly their theory is. They have some ideas they've sent me already. I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with them, but there's clearly something eaten away, and there's clearly something deposited somewhere else, which to me is pretty clearly galvanic corrosion, which shouldn't have occurred in that loop.
Yeah.
Everything in that loop was brass, copper, or plastic. So TBD. Basically, I haven't explored it any further yet because I want to make a video about it. The shoot date is next Thursday, so you guys will be getting a proper update. So I haven't tested systems 5 and 4 because until I crack open every single fitting, I'm not going to know what's corroding and what's not. But what I did do was I took one of the other systems and popped open one of the fittings, and they are immaculate. Perfect.
So it's that one very much in particular.
For some reason. Yeah. So story time though. I did try to fire up system 3 on the bench. It's dead. So,
makes sense. That's the one that it was flowing in on.
Oh yeah.
So it didn't leak through any holes.
So I lost a UPS. I lost system 3. System 4 and 5 are still TBD. Everything else survived except for an NVMe backplane.
Realistically, that's fantastic.
I could not have possibly hoped for a better result.
Especially with how much water flowing through, like that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy. I forget how we got onto this topic, but
we were talking about old GPUs.
Oh yeah, right. So my 7900 XTX.
Oh, right.
Still working great.
So it survived that even.
Yes.
Cool.
In spite of everything.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It was some good news at a time when I could use some good news.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked out as well as it did because it certainly didn't have to. All right, what are we supposed to be doing? Yes, topic 2. Luke, would you like to pick a topic?
Sure.
Maybe one of our headline ones.
Yeah. App company installs cameras in nightclubs. A new app called 2, as in the number, like not TWO, but the number 2, and then night, NIGHT, allows users to access live streams of the interiors of local partner nightclubs. This is supposed to be a way of helping users decide which nightclub they want to go to, but many club goers are upset at the idea of having an unknown number of invisible strangers watching them while they're trying to have fun, also known as stalking. According to the app's founders, they have introduced live stream blurring to ensure the anonymity.
I am just waiting for this feature to become pervasive everywhere. Because, I mean, realistically, there are places where this sort of thing makes sense.
People would pay mad money for it, too.
Having a weather cam at the top of a ski hill, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah.
having a lineup cam at something like a ferry,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And occasionally, some pretty wild stuff is going to get caught on cameras like that, and people are going to end up embarrassed. But if this becomes a norm, right? Because I could easily see the same thing happening for a coffee shop. I could see the same thing happening for a gym. Look at the look on his face.
Oh, that's so bad.
But imagine
The gym is very bad.
Imagine a normie, okay, who doesn't think about the privacy implications of this stuff and is like, oh, wow, so I can easily see if the gym is busy and decide if I want to hop over there. Would they sign that release?
There's so much easier ways, though.
It doesn't matter. Would they sign that release? Because this company tonight, or the many similar companies that are going to spring up, are going to pitch this as a complete, prepackaged solution. So rando gym owner, don't have to do anything. They just come in, they put their camera in, and then all of a sudden, we get a whole family of new subreddits. r/live stream gym fails, r/live stream nightclub fails. It's going to be great.
r/club creeps. Yeah, my biggest thing that I immediately thought of was that you just have stalkers all over the place, especially at nightclubs. You'd have stalkers, you'd have jealous, suspicious spouses. Oh, yeah. You'd have all this type of stuff. And like the weird kind of like guerrilla marketing that could happen for something like this to try to get someone to pay a more premium subscription so that they can like better monitor if their partner is out clubbing when they think they're doing something else.
Not_Max says they could have a feature where you can only watch for like 10 seconds because realistically, that's all it should take to see if a club is overcrowded. There are lots of mitigations. That's actually a really good idea.
That is a pretty good idea.
There's lots of mitigations that could make something like this less horrible. But the thing about mitigations,
there's ways around them,
is that as soon as you implement them, the arms race has begun, and there's going to be people figuring out how to bot it so that they can continuously have a feed, and they'll stitch the whole thing together afterward.
That is good, though. It would stop most normies.
It would stop
that is a very
lot
good
of
suggestion.
Casual voyeurism.
Gotta
yes.
give them that credit.
Absolutely.
There's other ways to track how many people are in a building without a video camera.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you could use something like infrared. You could use millimeter wave.
There's that Bluetooth thing that tracks people when you move through malls and stuff.
Yeah, you could, if you were doing it anonymously, you could just detect how many Bluetooth devices are in range. Given that pretty much everyone and their dog has a phone, that would actually give you a pretty good idea.
You're probably not bringing your AirPods to the club.
Yeah, or if you are, then that's fine because over a long enough period of time,
it'll kind of average out,
and a great enough sample size, it would become just sort of a statistics problem then to figure out, what constitutes busy versus what doesn't, knowing that it's not one-to-one Bluetooth devices to people.
Gray Bart in Floatplane chat said, my university has OcuSpace sensors in the gym and library that anonymously track Wi-Fi and Bluetooth signals to estimate the number of people in the space. Yeah, just do that. It doesn't need to be a camera.
But what if you just want to see if the scene's hopping?
But this is, I suspect the reason why it's a camera, because these types of technologies to do this without using a camera have existed for a long time.
Yeah, but they're more expensive.
Are they?
Yeah, I would think so.
Other than constantly live streaming video?
That's a good question. I mean, the constant live stream doesn't have to be like quality though.
Yeah.
Okay, what were you going to say?
The cameras at the ferry, I think that's just like very old. It's existed forever. I don't know, whatever. It's just been there for a long time. They could have something better, but it's been there for a long time. The cameras at the ski hills, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You want to visually see it.
Yes.
It's a different scenario. And usually they're in places that are really obvious. There's only one camera. It stares at like a post, so you can see the like meter stick on the post to see how much snow there actually is if it's buried. That type of stuff all makes sense. A camera inside of a nightclub constantly filming doesn't make sense to me.
The public webcams aren't typically live. They do still frames every however many seconds, according to QTC MVish 30.
Of what?
Whatever, like car lineup or whatever. Yeah.
That makes sense as well. But I mean, if you were trying to track a person, you'd still be able to figure it out. You'd see their car there.
This is wild. This is one of those things where there's just so many other solutions that it blows my mind that an entire like startup slash
Thought
app
this
development
made any sense.
Yeah, someone was like, you know what the best solution is? This horrible thing that is obviously not the best solution.
I have a really hard time believing that this is just like ignorance. I feel like they're trying to like make money off of voyeuristic people, stalkers, things like that. How does it make any sense? Why would you go with a video camera?
Because you're dumb or lazy.
It's got to be incredibly lazy. Just never looked up any potential other way of doing this.
No, I'm such a firm believer in Hanlon's razor. Like this could be very adequately explained by incompetence. 100%.
Yeah.
They're just dumb. They were like, commodity webcams can be had for $4 on AliExpress. Let's build a subscription model around it.
Here's a potentially like a psychology question. If you're a really busy nightclub that does really well, would you want this? Ooh. Do you want to advertise that you're full? Do you think more people are going to come and like line up to enter? Or do you want to advertise that you're not full?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I would ask you guys, what clubbers prefer.
You probably don't know either.
Let's be real. It's Friday night and you're here.
You want to go to the full ones.
You want to go to the full ones?
Yeah, you wouldn't go to a club that has like 4 people in it.
I mean, that's true, but like, do you want to go to a full
So is
one?
it a webcam?
Right, I forgot. Dan's other life, he was like a DJ or something, right?
I mean, that kind of depends what you're looking for, right?
I mean,
do you want to go and like really party hard? Do you want to go and have like something casual?
Dan, it's Friday night and I'm here.
Yeah, I've been here and also Saturdays like for the last forever. They're open late, right?
I went to
you
a
can go
club,
at like 2 a.m.
I've gone to a club, I think one
cool story,
time ever. I went with Nick Light, and we went because there was a DJ going there that we liked their music. We went literally just to like listen to the music and then left when the DJ left.
That's extremely valid. I've done that.
Thank you.
You go and get some bottle service, you listen to your DJ, and then you go home.
I had no intention of like socializing with women. I wanted to go see the DJ. I enjoyed the set, and then I left. That I didn't drink anything. I don't remember, but I don't think Nick drank anything. We went home and probably played League of Legends.
You don't remember, but you didn't drink anything.
Well, no, I know I didn't drink anything.
I'm kidding.
I don't remember if he drank anything.
This is hilarious. I love it. I mean, look, I would laugh at you more, except that I have never been to a nightclub. Actually, that's a lie. No, that's a lie. I have been to nightclubs in Vegas during CES in my vendor relations days. And
I don't really count those.
For real, I was like going there to make connections. Like I was not there because I wanted to be there.
I honestly forgot about all of that. I've technically done that as well.
I think I've actually seen some very famous performers there, but I don't know DJs.
Yeah.
So like I don't remember, but there were events where it was like, oh yeah, this is like a big deal. Oh, one of them like hold on. I know, this guy, John Legend was there at an event one time. Like the amount of money that these companies spend on events sometimes is absolutely wild. Oh, who's that crazy good female singer? I forget her name. Give me some singers.
I don't know.
Man, was it Adele? I can't remember. It was someone super famous that Google hired for an event at one point, and I was there. I was like, well, I was wild. It might have been her. I don't remember. I'm not gonna say who it was because I don't remember.
At a recent event, I think it was Google, had a dude there playing music that I think is really cool.
No,
What's
I don't.
Name?
No, I don't think it was Adele. It was someone else. It was someone like that,
Mark
like someone
Rebele?
with a really amazing.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
With really amazing vocals or something. Anyway, I give up. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. Cameras in nightclubs. We don't like it.
Any of them.
Cool. All right, Dan. What's next?
Marriage messages.
It was Alicia Keys. I think it was Alicia Keys.
Oh yeah, I can see her being available.
Whoa!
Why so mean?
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. Here we go.
But why?
Here. Dang.
Yeah.
What is it?
Exactly. Woo! She'll make herself available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Alicia Keys. Anyway, she was great. Yeah.
Everybody's calling her savage.
Whatever Dan might say about her.
I was meaning exactly that.
Yikes.
Oh, you're meaning that she would be expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
No,
that
like
she,
appearance.
definitely has.
I know
free
that's what I wanted to interpret it as. But no, like appearance fees are normally 7 figures.
Yeah. I mean, not for her apparently, but
Well, just about.
almost.
got him. Okay. Well, oh yeah. Explain merch messages. Oh wow. Ooh, it's an exciting day for merch messages, my friends. Lime Day is officially back. That's right.
Right now?
Well, sort of. It's going to be July 16th to July 19th on LTTStore.com. This is one of our biggest deal events of the year because, hey, we figure if Amazon's going to make up a bull nonsense shopping holiday, then
we might as well have one too.
We might as well participate too,
Yeah.
except ours is going to be good. That's the difference
Yeah.
between Prime Day and Lime Day. We're going to have some of LTT Store's sweetest deals of the year. We're promising up to 60% off select items, which is pretty wild. You can actually sign up to make sure that you get notified. Here we go. You can sign up to make sure you get notified of deals as quickly as possible over at lttstore.com/pages/lime-day.
Some people are apparently having issues with the confirmation email.
Oh.
This is a gorgeous form. Well, it's our own form that sends it.
Wait, I've got a picture to show. And it has a QR code or something.
Oh, okay.
Is that what I'm supposed
Maybe
to do?
try that.
Well, hold on. This is very important. So by signing up for emails, you consent to receive marketing emails from LTT, blah, 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 blah. You can unsubscribe at any time. Okay, anyway, it's coming in 10 days, so you're going to want to sign up to get first dibs. There's upcoming deal. Ooh, there's going to be a screwdriver combo deal and many more. It's going to be wild. But even more wild is if you guys want to send a merch message today, we have as a WAN Show exclusive 2 early deals. What?
You can't do that.
Yes, we can.
Oh.
We can do anything we want.
You own the store.
We are LTTstore.com.
Oh.
Would you like a tracksuit?
Maybe.
Would you like a tracksuit for $30 US?
Oh.
This is a crazy deal.
Whoa.
We have some leftover tracksuits.
Wait, that's the whole thing.
The whole thing. You select your jacket. You select your joggers. You add them to the cart. You leave a merch message. And it's yours for $30.
They are the top seller today.
That makes
Already?
sense.
Already.
That makes sense. Where
We
you
didn't
can
even
get
talk about them yet.
I know.
pants and a jacket for $30.
Okay, well, anyway, hold on, okay, dang it, I love our site. There it is. Okay, if you were wondering, is this a quality track jacket? All you got to do is check out the reviews. Yeah, little bit. I am skeptical of YouTubers' merch. As much as I'd like to support those I like, I myself don't make a lot of money, so I only consider things I know are good. I've read and heard a lot of good things about LTT stuff, blah, 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 blah. When I first got it, blah, 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 blah. Took it out on a run, and I've barely taken it off since.
Let's go.
Look, you can't. I couldn't even chat GPT myself.
Please do wash it though.
Yeah. Please wash it.
Take it off to wash.
Yeah, I couldn't even chat GPT better testimonials than the ones we have from our customers. The products are outstanding.
So what you're saying is you could write them better yourself.
What? No. Okay. Also, in other news, the retro polar fleece. We don't have many of these left. There's a small handful of these left. If you want to pick one up in the delightful retro colorway or just the black and gray, I guess still okay colorway. I like the retro one better. Anyway, we're blowing these away for $19.99. We really don't have a ton of them though, so it's a great product. If you want one of these, go grab it. Quick. All right, preview deals. There you go. And the best part is I get to write it off.
And here's a thing.
Oh, right. I never explained merch messages.
No. You got to show the picture.
Oh.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just scan the QR code for notifications.
Cool. Someone's saying, is this a regional deal?
It shouldn't be.
Your order cannot be shipped to the selected address. Dan, do you mind firing that over to Nick to just see if anything's blah, blah, blah? Yeah, anyway. New York Islander says, I love my polar fleece. It was my sweater of choice for family parties over the fall and winter. Buy another one then. All right, cool. I know it's summer, but there's good... You know that the seasons change predictably, right? There will be an opportunity to wear a winter garment again.
I don't know about that.
Oh, man.
Do we have shorts on sale right now?
Not today.
Yeah, but like we...
like just for sale at all? I'm actually not sure. It's a good question. Oh, there's one other update before we do merch messages.
The swim trunks.
So the way merch messages work, you add the item you want to your cart. There's a little box where you can type what you want to be your merch message. It'll go to producer Dan, who will reply to it, or who will blast it up on the bottom of the screen down here, or who will forward it to someone who can answer you, or who will curate it for me and Luke to respond to on the show. Dan's going to show you how it works in one moment after I just give you guys a reminder that the LMG garage sale is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Labs building, which is just on Google Maps. We have 400 plus items, keyboards, mice, headsets, speakers, computer components. We actually found some backpacks that we can sell at the garage sale that may have light scuffs or marks, but are perfectly functional. No other LTT store items will be available for purchase. You must find street parking somewhere. We do not have a big parking lot, and it's credit, debit only. So either street parking or use public transit. That's the word I was looking for. Should we fly in for this? No, you should not. You will definitely spend more on your plane ticket than you will save.
People ask that every time.
I know. Don't.
It sounds like a talking point at this point.
I
but
know.
It's not.
This is not reverse psychology.
Don't fly out for this.
Not fly out for this.
It's not like a meet and greet.
It would be very bad and dumb. Do not.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Dan, do you want to show us how merch messages work?
I just got like 1,000.
Well, that's what happened. You should have thought of that.
Yeah, it's my fault, really.
Yeah.
Let's do 3. Why not? Hello, Darius, Van, and Cook. Any thoughts about the current state of game optimization? It feels like AAA games lately have increasing minimum requirements with barely improved graphical quality.
Wait, hold on. I just want to say something really quick. You guys are ordering up these track jackets and joggers like by the bucket full. If you'd consider buying something else, theoretically, loss leaders are supposed to serve a purpose where like you buy something that has some margin in it and we don't totally lose our shirts. I'd be pleased as punch if you would also buy something else because these are priced well below our cost. We're just trying to make some room in the warehouse. So yeah, maybe why don't I pick out a couple of items for you that have decent margin, okay, that are relatively new arrivals, perhaps. Oh God, why do we have a sold out item?
Okay. I have a comment here from Nick Light.
Oh, you could pick up a retro monitor pet cave. See, look, reviews are in already, and they love it. See, look. Great cave, my cats love it. So you could pick up a little pet cave. It looks like a cute little CRT monitor. Hold on, I'll get to you in a second, Dan. First, I need to find some stuff with You could buy a screwdriver. You could buy... do we have backpacks in stock? Yes, we do. You could buy a backpack. You could pick up our stylish dip dye hoodie. What else? You could get a desk pad. You could pick up a desk pad. We have desk pads. There they are. We have lots of different colors and styles. They really are a great deal, but we do have some margin on them, especially if you buy a smaller size. The smaller size ones have more margin. You could buy a t-shirt. Oh, no, our margin sucks on t-shirts. Okay.
Retro Monitor Cave is almost sold out. There's only about 10 left.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we burned through almost all of them last week on the WAN Show.
Oh, balls.
14 left.
You could buy a Labs Phase pullover hoodie. You know what? Buy a dropout.
The dropout stuff is so underrated.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable.
Buy a dropout hoodie or dropout track pant or sweatpants.
It's all very comfortable.
Yeah, they're really good.
It's my favorite stuff to put on after I shower after a workout.
Yeah, dropout sweatpants. Go get them. See, look, literally 5 stars. Good stuff. Okay. Yeah, please buy something other than just the lost leader.
And as Nick Light says, we're losing loads of money right now, so clearly the deal is working. Lol.
Okay. What's the best rain gear on LTTStore? Oh, we actually have a really nice jacket. Here you go. Get this one. I know it says windbreaker, but it's if it was on any other store, it would be called waterproof. But we call it water resistant because we're pedantic like that. But it's rated for 10,000 millimeters, which is 10 meters of water resistance rating. Dual layer membrane, aquaseal zippers. We should probably market this differently. It's a really, really nice jacket.
Very nice. Sorry for not being super communicative. I've been using you carrying the show as time to help Dan not get buried.
Oh, right. That's a concern.
I've been working on the dashboard.
A lot of them are like, wow, this is awesome. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Dan's got this.
I'm fine. I'm used to this now.
Why don't we do a couple merch messages then? Maybe Luke could pick them so that Dan can keep clicking on things.
I'll be okay.
Okay, Dan's got it.
Don't take his job.
He's got it.
I have one thing to do here.
File a union grievance.
Don't say that word.
What, union
He
or
didn't mean
grievance?
Who knows?
Everything is fine here.
What is the past trauma that I'm triggering here, Dan?
No, nothing.
All right.
Let's see. Didn't I already ask you one and then you told me to shut up? Let's see. What is it about the AAA games?
Scrappy DP asks, which is more profitable, the tracksuit or the badminton center? Tracksuit.
Easy.
Yeah. You could say that about a lot of things.
Streaming. I wonder how much WAN shows cost you.
Oh, dude. I could tell you.
What?
Don't tell them.
Oh, like the Floatplane streaming costs? Oh, I have no idea.
Like
It's
just one
so
WAN
bad.
show.
Really?
What is one WAN show cost?
We're fine. Floatplane's fine.
But I thought we don't even. I thought we. How many? I thought you don't even know how many people watch live. How can you possibly know how much it's costing?
Oh, we know how
just
much
the
data
bandwidth.
goes through.
Well, then why don't you know how many people are watching?
Because quality levels and all this other type of thing.
I bet you could approximate.
I've told you forever we can approximate. It's just not accurate.
Oh,
Yeah. This has always been the case.
how much does a WAN show cost?
Oh, a lot. I'd have to look it up. But
You said you could tell me, and then you're just going to give me a giant tease
this
here.
second.
Well, realistically, AJ's probably looking it up already.
If he's around, almost certainly. Yeah.
I haven't seen
what
him
I
in the
more
chat,
meant
though.
was the total over the years, though.
Okay, so what's that?
Oh, I have to look it up.
Well, then why? I feel like
I didn't mean I could tell you right now.
I feel like you're doing a bit.
I was telling you that's something that I can that's a number that I can get for you, and it's really high.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. How do people on Floatplane know how many viewers there are? They say there's about 800 something
viewers.
viewers.
They are also guessing based off of the viewer list, but as I have to say every time, the viewer list doesn't work 100% because there's different add-ons that people can have in their browsers that block things that result in the viewer list not showing it.
Maybe if I was a competent CTO, we'd be able to do this.
Wow, we can. Oh, dude, no problem. No problem. I'll hire 100 times more the developers we have right now. We'll solve all these different problems for you.
You're gonna have to get that through Terran.
Not an issue.
Yeah, that's
in
not
the
my
slightest.
department. That's
Any
not my
problem you have
department.
with Floatplane, we can solve very quickly. It just takes lots more money than we're spending right now. No issue. But yeah, the viewer list is always less than the actual amount of people watching.
Right, because if someone has ad block on or something like that, or
and basically always there's at least a few people in that category. And it's not just
Really?
ad block. Not all ad blockers will block this
in our
viewer
audience,
list.
privateers.
It's been a while since the last time we checked which things will actually block the viewer list. If I remember, I'm not going to go through them right now, but a lot of the popular ones don't. Because it's been it's not a problem, and it's been reported enough that it's not a problem. But there are pretty much always some that do block it.
Got it.
It is what it is. It's not something that we've worked on because who cares?
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yep.
Merch message?
Sure, Dan.
Hello, Darius, Van, and Cook. Any thoughts about the current state of game optimization?
Oh, right. You read this already.
It feels like AAA games lately have increasing minimum requirements with barely improved graphics quality. Cheers.
Ah, okay.
It's diminishing returns on fidelity. So they're making improvements. They might even still be making 10% improvements, but it's 10% on something that's already really high. So it's hard for you to be able to really tell.
And if this highlights anything, I think it's the cleverness of old school developers.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching this video on like how they did scope reflections back before reflections weren't a thing. And it was this wild thing where there was like a fake alternate version of the skybox of something, and it would invert it, and just like the whole thing was fake. The whole thing was fake, but you would never notice it in 1,000 years of playing the game. And so a lot of what you're seeing today is, but we did scope reflections, but real. And it's super computationally intensive.
Scope reflections.
Yeah, it's super intensive, but the meaningfulness to you, the average gamer, is basically zero. So it feels like, so look at something like vegetation. Okay, do you remember the first game that popped up where they showed
actual reactive vegetation?
Yeah, a character model like crouching through ferns or something.
Insane, yeah.
Well, what game was it? Was it Crisis 2 or something?
Probably.
I don't know. It was something, but there was like this like kind of viral thing where they showed a player character like crouching and going through like some dense vegetation, and like a fern like almost like it was on a hinge, like moves out of the way and then goes back. Super cool.
Conrad said volumetric footsteps in sand, snow, and mud. Yeah, like SnowRunner, having like your tires make proper imprints into the ground stuff, like that's crazy.
Yeah, but the thing is that
not really anymore, but it was crazy when it happened.
We were able to do a big leaf thing on a hinge, 15 years ago or whenever that game came out. Was it Far Cry? It might have been Far Cry. Far Cry was such a good game. You should play it. You've never played
the
it, have
original
you?
one?
Yeah.
I watched you play it. You streamed it one night.
True.
But
okay, so we could do that 15 years ago. So now, you can have 25 hinges on this plant, for this bunch of leaves and this bunch of leaves. Is that making that meaningful a difference to everyday gameplay?
If you're going from, 10 polygons to 12, it's like, whoa.
World changing.
If you're going from 10,000 polygons to 12,000 polygons, it's like,
It's not that big of a deal.
It already looked pretty good. I don't know.
So there's a big kind of diminishing returns factor here. And another key thing to understand is that when you're looking at new games that are coming out, how good they're going to look is so dependent these days on where we are in the current generation console life cycle. So what I suspect is that we're going to start to get, and realistically, we already are starting to get, now that we're deep enough into PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, we're starting to get games that really do look and behave meaningfully differently from the games that were designed for the last generation consoles.
Yeah.
And as developers continue to squeeze more performance out of these current gen consoles, we're going to start to see them utilize them in ways that are more meaningful to gameplay, whether that comes in the form of more destructive environments or whether that comes in the form of more interactive elements in environments like the accurate, tire tracks in the snow. Does that change gameplay a lot? No, but what I bet you would find is if you go back and play an older game that just has two versions of the snow texture, one with a tire mark down the middle of it and one without it, right? You're gonna be playing that game and you're gonna go, man, this feels like janky and kludgy.
Yeah. It's smaller, less noticeable stuff.
Yeah, so I think part of it is that it's not as exciting to go forward as it is jarring to go backward. And lighting is a big part of that. Lighting is so hard.
We're also not running into as much of like when we were growing up, you see like the first 3D game.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. And then you see like the first 3D game that doesn't look like butt.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. And then the first 3D game with physics that like actually matter and stuff. Like there's these really big, like, oh my goodness, technological jumps. And now we've passed a lot of those, I think, in the sense of the things that we've traditionally done in video games and the hurdles that are the most obvious to jump over. There's still stuff that people are going to figure out to do that's really cool technologically. Yeah. But a lot of the obvious ones are done now. So when a new game comes out, I don't think the graphical fidelity is necessarily the main thing that people are looking for. I don't remember the name of that game that came out recently, but it was like megabytes. It was tiny. Animal Well? People love it because it has an art style. The art style itself matters now. There isn't so many limitations to art style anymore. I mean, look at Star Citizen. Like they're just cranking everything. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, let's see. DLL Grok question mark? I don't know.
Remember when this was exciting?
Oh boy.
But it like actually was.
Yeah, like that was crazy.
Yeah. Wow. The model comes out.
Like look at those face.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it's and it's not just completely flat. Like there's a nose. You got a polygon there.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And like the hair's like 20 polygons.
It's not just painted onto the circle that is her head. Like there's other things going on.
Yeah, textured. It's textured. Look at these textures. Like that looks like, like old and stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't Half-Life 1 the first game with bones? People had bones?
I don't remember that.
Is that right?
If
Maybe.
I understand correctly, that was like the first game that used skeletal models. I think Half-Life has always been like the new tech kind of thing. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Some people in chat are saying, I think so.
There was a huge amount of innovation and movement for a long time there. The Titanfall games, a bunch of the COD games and stuff like that were really working on like parkour stuff, sliding, different things like that.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of technological advancement was for a while.
Map traversal is
right
a huge
now,
thing. Yeah.
it feels like lighting
Yeah.
is
lighting.
like the main focus of the industry.
Lighting and lumen,
And
right?
you really won't notice it, like I said, going
Unless you go
forward.
back.
And then
Yeah.
you'll go back and you'll be like, this just looks so
Lighting
flat and
sucks.
dull.
It feels old.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily know why.
Lighting, color, HDR, those that's a big one, right? Like if you're running one of the latest games and you're running it on a non-HDR display, I would make the argument that for a AAA game that's really designed to be played on, a 1000 nit peak brightness display in HDR, you are probably not having the full experience of what it's supposed to look like because of how much they're investing in that lighting technology in that game.
Yeah. And like obviously lighting and character movement, these are things that people have worked on forever, but there was a bit of a character movement renaissance a little while ago with those games that I mentioned, and lighting has been a huge focus for a while now. I don't necessarily know what'll be next, but
Nanite? I've been seeing some interesting stuff with procedural animations. So you only have to make like 6 poses. I mean, this is all Unreal Engine 5 stuff, but that's too cutting edge to be included in like the next couple releases. Like simplifying things now that we're getting into super high resolution stuff, like polygons and that sort of doesn't even matter anymore. Ray tracing is another big one, but again, that's lighting, right? So I don't know.
Remember when ragdoll physics was the new hotness?
yeah, that was a huge deal.
Wasn't that Half-Life 2 with the Havoc engine was another huge leader in that?
I could watch this over and over and over again for the rest of my life and still find it funny.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys remember this benchmark?
I have
Yeah.
never seen this before.
Yeah.
So it's a ragdoll physics benchmark from 3Mark.
I also do remember the first game. I don't remember what the game was, but I remember someone said Prince of Persia was the big movement game. Sorry, I'm going to come back to what I was just saying in a second. But Brink, actually. Search like first shooter game with parkour movement. Brink comes up. I was so incredibly excited for Brink. And then they just like borderline lied about a bunch of stuff. And it really pissed me off. And all my friends quit like almost right away. There's supposed to be like a single player campaign. But it was just the multiplayer maps with like a storyline intro video thing, and then bots playing the exact same game mode that multiplayer played. Nice. It was BS. Brink was rough, but it brought parkour movement to the 3D space,
right?
In a really interesting way.
That's cool.
And like a long time ago. Brink was released 2011. It's a lot older than a lot of people think. It's like vaulting and sliding.
I hate
like
that
all these
2011 is a lot older than people think.
It really is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Dan, hit us again.
Sure. DLL Grok. I often wonder how much foresight successful business people have starting out. In early LMG, did you envision having a logistics department, a clothing line, labs, or a racquetball/LAN center?
No. I mean, I think having a testing lab, yes. Yeah, that was something that I had wanted from day zero. But it was very expensive and continues to be very expensive. Yeah. So it's a big challenge to do scalably in any kind of meaningful way. Like, yeah, we could test one thing, no problem, but building processes around it has proven to be extremely challenging. I mean, we knew it was going to be really hard, and we're not giving up. But it turns out we were right. It's really hard.
Okay, last one for...
Props to the team for how smooth the lab's website navigates, by the way.
Oh, yeah. They've got a... hold on. They've got a new review up, and this is hilarious. This will be the true test of whether LTTLabs can be unbiased or not. It's a review of the Intel Arc A770. This is a bit of an inside joke, but Gary, head of labs, is very hopeful about Intel's prospects in the consumer GPU space. He's been in the industry a long time. A very, very, very long time. He's been in the industry a long time. And he has been on pretty much every side of it. So you guys probably know he worked at ASUS before he was here. But before that, he worked as a writer at AnandTech for a number of years. And so he's seen the industry from a lot of different perspectives. Now he's back on the media side. And what he has recognized is that Intel, for all of their warts, could be a viable competitor to keep NVIDIA honest and keep them somewhat focused on gamers. Anyway, so we joke about him being biased towards Arc because he really is rooting for it to succeed, but he would never allow that to cloud our conclusions about a product. So that's the background. But anyway, product overview. So this was written up by Oni, I think, right? Yep. Yeah. There you go. Written up by Oni. So this is handwritten. This is handwritten. I believe, actually, I'm not sure about the rest of it, but look, we've got our interactive LumaField slides. So there's our scan of it. And so if you guys want to see the latest iteration of the site, you can interact with the charts. You can actually change the colors of the charts. Oh, how do you do that, Luke? I forget how to do it.
That's in your profile settings. So if you click on the cogwheel in the top right, you can do chart data color presets. This can be very helpful if you have a variety of different like vision alteration challenges things. So that if you're colorblind in different ways, you can adjust it. Or if you just have an easier time looking at a different set of colors, you can save it. But it's set for your profile, so you don't change it for every chart. You just change it overall.
Yep. Thanks. I forgot. Anyway, so the A770, it's a competitive mid-range card, and as long as the price is right, it's actually pretty viable. You got to admire the commitment. I actually think it's really cool that they decided to review this so far after the fact. Partner cards are available for as low as $280. Yeah, making it pretty darn reasonable. I hope Battle Mage doesn't suck, dude. We've got some other new reviews up. So those of you who are upset about the AI voice on PSU circuit, YouTube, yeah, here we go. Guys, you do not have to listen to it. So the power supplies that we cover here, and we just got a fresh one up. The Tough Power GF A3 750 watt. You can see these are actually getting they're kind of getting views. Like, it's not a lot, obviously, but for a unit that anyone cares about, if we can scale this, if we can do, 5x that or 10x that, this will be very sustainable in the long term, I hope. But anyway, if you're not into, AI voice videos, you could just read the articles. Boom. Look at that. Testing was incomplete due to hardware failures. This happened with 2 different samples. And this is why what we're doing is important, guys. Because testing a thing one time is fine for making YouTube videos. And it's something that we have been able to do for a very, very long time. But building a process where we can go through and we can methodically make our way through the product catalogs of the major manufacturers and separate the wheat from the chaff is really freaking hard. It takes a lot of equipment. It takes a lot of people power. It takes a lot of time and investment, and we're finally getting there. Overall, Labs does not recommend this power supply. And if we weren't doing this, man, there's categories that are basically dead in terms of independent validation and testing. YouTube. Exactly.
And that's YouTube is where a lot of the money is these days. So.
And there's no money in written. Yeah. So, I'm so stoked. I'm so excited for what the team is doing. There was an interesting thread on the subreddit asking, how will LTTLabs make money? And to answer that, they won't for now. But in the long term, LTTLabs plan, linustechtips.com. I'm going to see if I can find it, but I wrote up a blog post like 1,000 years ago where I basically laid out what the plan is for labs. And guys, it hasn't changed. The plan for the lab is still the same. Let me see if I can labs vision. Here we go. I think I know of a doc that has it in it. Oh goodness, this is going to take me a minute. So Luke, do you want to stall for time for me?
Sure. You want another topic?
No.
Doesn't want another topic. If you are on the Labs website and you do want to leave some feedback, I know it might look like a cookie banner, but it's not. At the top of the page, there is a bluish banner that is asking for feedback. There's a link there to a Google form. If you want to leave your feedback there, it would be appreciated. As much as I like talking to you guys in Floatplane chat and wherever else, it's very hard for me to take notes while I'm on the show, and it's a lot better if you just leave it through the feedback form.
Okay, I found it. And I actually, just as an example of how it's hard to do this sort of thing scalably, we had some criticism of our battery life, our battery longevity test, that running it at 720p is stupid, essentially. And you know what? You're right. There's arguments that you could make for doing anything else. You could do general web browsing. You could take network connectivity out of the equation and just perform local tasks. You could manually determine. You can manually force which decoding engine you're using from YouTube. You could run it at a higher resolution. You could run it at 1080p. There's all these different things that you could do, and there's these different arguments you could make. But at the end of the day, we have to settle on something. And the reason that we settled on 1080p playback at 200 nits is that that's a bar that every device can hit. So yeah, looking at the latest thing.
You guys also have like so that's your like low bar test, right? Do you also have like an expected use case test? I thought so.
We have a stress test.
Okay.
So we have an endurance test and we have a stress test. What we would love to have in the longer term is a general usage test and a heavy usage test, but not, with power viruses. But
right.
What you've got to understand is that, so I had someone helpfully comment, and this is a good suggestion. It legitimately is a good suggestion. I had someone helpfully comment in the forum thread on that laptop testing video that we should really be benchmarking every laptop away from wall power. And it's like, yes, you're not wrong. That's a really good idea. But think about the scalability. If we were testing one laptop, no problem. Hey, John from Labs, do you mind benchmarking it again with the on the battery? Okay. But how are we going to scale that? How are we going to ramp that up so that every laptop that rolls through the door is going to be able to run in an automated fashion all of these different battery or all of these different performance tests where a human is going to ultimately have to be the one who, disconnects things or reconnects things if we run things away from battery as well. Like the number of interventions is something that we have to consider in all of this. And, in the long term, we'd love to have a robot that, plugs it in and then unplugs it, and, make sure that the charge state stays optimal. So it would have to,
Turns out robots are hard.
Yeah, if you had a laptop that had really poor battery life, you might even have to be constantly monitoring like hardware info to determine the current charge state, so that you could stop the test, plug it into charge for a little bit, unplug it, and then run the next test. Like there's the complexity of that is no problem when you've just got a human running a test. But the complexity of that when you're trying to figure out how to create a workflow for this is very challenging. So we're gonna figure it out. Isn't that what interns are for? No. We're gonna figure it out, but it's gonna take a long time, and maybe it will never be perfect. But we're going to continue to try and do better and better and better and better. So back to the question of how will LTTLabs make money? Well, it's going to help create content ideas for LTT, which it already does. Affiliate revenue. Do we have links already?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You guys should use them.
Yeah. I mean, not on this power supply in particular. We don't recommend this power supply, but hey, there's that.
I also don't have links on the ARC.
No. Well, that's because you can't buy that particular card.
Oh. Really?
Affiliate revenue. Advertising on site. This one is unlikely. I hate banner ads. So there's that.
They also don't make a lot unless you do them in really annoying, really intrusive ways.
We're getting into less likely things. Certification programs / third-party validation. I've laid out my arguments for why I don't think it's great. Turning our testing knowledge into our product development process. So you are probably going to see some labs knowledge in some of our future products. Paywalls. If we start testing things to a degree that the only people who need to know are, people making procurement decisions at large companies, then yeah, something like that could happen. I want this to be a resource for consumers though, so this seems unlikely. Direct sales of products through the site. Man, sometimes I'm very blunt. I think it would be a very interesting outcome, though, because we're in this kind of dystopian hellscape right now, where we actually shot a video today that was really interesting to me. We built the Home Depot gaming setup. Yeah, right? My brain just about broke, too, when this was pitched in writers' meeting. But you can actually get a shocking amount of gaming stuff at the Home Depot.
What?
Yeah, especially online. And one of the questions that I just, it wasn't in the script or anything, but it just ended up being just a conversation between me and Tanner on set, was like, when did every trusted retailer turn into a Chinese marketplace? Like, when and why did this happen?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
also, just in case anyone was like, what? Like I was, apparently.
What if someone started then from a place of trust and then was like, hey, now that you're educated, you can get something good? That could be industry changing, and for the better in a big way.
Yeah, I didn't expect things like knockoff Apple keyboards to be sold at
the Home Depot.
Home Depot.
It's bizarre, dude.
That's so weird.
Anyway.
Is it sold on Home Depot first party or just third party sellers on the Home Depot website?
Both.
That, I don't think this is going to be a hot take. I don't think that matters, largely because of what Linus was just saying. Any website, any store that has built its reputation for tons and tons and tons and tons of years and then has, it's a third-party seller, it's not, the most obvious piece of information that you're going to look at while you look at this page, and you can just order it and buy it, whatever. It's weird. Stores that have third-party stores on them is very odd. I don't like that Amazon does that. I don't like that a lot of these other places do that. I think that should be left to places like eBay, where that is the point of the website.
Newegg turned to garbage.
Yes.
Their main competitive advantage against Amazon was that they hadn't enshittified yet, and then they did it.
And then they did it.
And then they just did it.
So much worse now. I used to like that it was like a little bit of a haven from that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you had the same complaint.
I could tell that, like, I could trust Newegg to have probably somewhere reasonably close to MSRP pricing, somewhere close to a representative selection of what is actually currently available in the market. Like, that's the other thing too, is I can't even tell what hardware is in production anymore.
Yep.
Unless I call up Zotac and ask for a price list.
You know, because
they'll have ancient, like, refurbished cards all over the site now from random Chinese sellers.
I don't have the page up anymore, but when you said you can't buy that A770 anymore, I almost reacted and was like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because I had just looked it up. But then I realized, it's almost certainly just a reseller, whatever site I was looking at.
And it's probably
closed it since
priced at 3 times what it should be, because I guess they're hoping that someone's going to come across a positive review for this card and like buy it or something. And look, being at NCIX, I would occasionally see people order like long obsolete stuff for ridiculous pricing. I'd be like,
why did this happen?
Why? I mean, they must need it for some specific reason, but many times it wasn't something that they would need for compatibility with, some weird arcade software, whatever, right? I'm technical enough to know probably that they just straight up didn't need that, but they ordered it anyway, and often at a completely ridiculous price. And what really sucked is that as NCIX, a lot of the time it was just a pass-through listing from a distributor, not like a Chinese, rando
it's a totally
seller.
Different thing.
Yeah, so an actual like distributor who just happened to have one of those that they like found, and it ended up in the feed, and they would sell to us at a fixed markup. So we weren't even like making extra on this ancient hardware, and you were just paying $600 for some old GPU, and we were making $40 on it. Or I was like, okay, great.
Rough.
Yep. Zotac, that's a throwback. That's not a throwback.
What?
Zotac's a NVIDIA partner now.
I think they're doing better now than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, they seem to have a pretty good reputation these days.
Yeah. When I first got into computer stuff, no slight to Zotac, but when I first got into computer stuff, Zotac was the kind of not as good brand. The like, you got one of those, like, I guess you wanted to like save money on that part of your computer. They don't have that perception anymore, and for good reason, in my opinion.
Red Fogel says, did some digging. Your titanium heat exchanger is probably responsible for killing your water cooling. Titanium sacrifices copper. One small problem. The other fittings are perfect. There's no reason for me to believe that specific one is going to be the one that acts as the sacrificial anode. Also, the fitting is made of brass, which my understanding is at a similar spot. Like, basically, you need metals that aren't too far away from each other on whatever the scale is. It's been a while since I've looked it up, and I'm spotty on the details, but copper and brass are extremely close to each other, so it is possible that titanium would find brass instead of copper as well, but I sincerely do not believe that is it. I have a better theory that's based on my conversation with EK. All right. Oh, sponsors. My goodness, are we at sponsor time already? Good gravy. The show is brought to you by someone. I am not on the dock anymore. Whoops.
I can get it.
No, I got it. EcoFlow. Power outages got you cooking your pizza by candlelight? Our sponsor, EcoFlow, wants to keep those bad experiences in the dark and bring light to your life and your pizza with their new Delta Pro 3. These are getting more and more unhinged.
I like this one.
It's a portable backup solution designed to power your home appliances. The Delta Pro 3 can energize almost anything thanks to its 4,000 watt output via 120 volt or 240 volt. You can even expand this capacity to a whopping 12,000 watts with their extra battery kits. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Why would for up to 48 kilowatt hours, that it can deliver more wattage because you'll have to have 3 of the actual like generator units. Okay.
3 times 4, that makes sense.
There are okay, whatever, you guys get it. Charging the Delta Pro 3 is a breeze with its 7 total methods of charging. These charging methods can also be combined for fast multi-charging solution. Yeah, that's pretty cool because it can actually be charged at such a high rate that it's like kind of not that conceivable that you will be able to charge it at its full speed off of like one plug. We are using the Delta Pro 3 at our Smash Champs Badminton Center to provide backup power for our networking systems in case of outages. It's really heavy. To learn more, check out our video from last week or check out the EcoFlow website linked in the video description. These things are super cool. They actually have fast enough failover that you can use them as a UPS as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The show is also brought to you by Squarespace. They have the power to boost your online presence. Tired of looking like a GeoCities nightmare? We feel you.
I love that website.
Instead of dragging your feet on coding a site, you can literally just drag and drop with Squarespace Blueprint. It's designed to give you a great layout and styling options so your website is optimized for every device. They also have integrated, optimized SEO tools that help your site rank higher in search results, which means more people will find your site more easily. Squarespace makes shopping easy too. They accept credit card, PayPal, and even Apple Pay to give your customers flexibility. And of course, we use Squarespace to build our website too. So no more late nights spent Googling, why is my website broken? You can use Squarespace's 24/7 support to help you build your dream website today. Start building and receive 10% off your first purchase by visiting squarespace.com/WAN. Finally, the show is brought to you by Corsair. Not everything bigger is better, especially when your hands are the size of baby kittens.
What?
But fear not. Our sponsor Corsair has come to the rescue with the K65 Plus wireless keyboard. It's a 75% keyboard designed to free up your desk space, allowing for more mouse movement. This isn't in our talking points, but it can also help with ergonomics because it'll help you not have such a wide stance for your arms.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It helps keep your arms better aligned with your shoulders.
Yeah.
It uses pre-lubed Corsair MLX red linear switches that help make them smooth like butter. And with 2 layers of sound dampening, it will reduce unwanted pings and clacks. You can easily connect to your devices with 2.4 gigahertz wireless, Bluetooth, or wired USB if that's still your thing. And it boasts 266 hours of battery life on a single charge. Basically, you can game like this. What are we supposed to see? For like a week straight without a recharge. I don't know what the visual is supposed to be.
I think game like this means just wirelessly.
All right. Learn more about the K65 Plus wireless at the link.
Did you not press a button?
In the video description. Nice.
You can game for like
Oh, well, I automagically inserted a word with my eyes. Nice.
Yeah!
Linus is getting worse.
Hey!
It's over, guys.
Got him.
I got some more merch messages here for you.
All right, hit me, Dan.
All right, let's see if I can find one. Hello.
Wait, hold on. Why don't we do a topic or two first? We've done very few topics.
Yeah, okay.
All right. According to ex-F1 senior systems engineer Dan Drury, known as Engine Mode 11 on Twitter, Formula One cars have an IP address. When asked if this meant that the car could be hacked, Drury replied that the external actors aren't the main concern with this system. It's the internal electronics team who might accidentally connect to the wrong car or flash the engine control unit of a car that is already running. Drury then implied that this kind of thing had happened before and had destroyed the engine of the car in question. According to Drury, he had the unfortunate job of trying to deploy Wi-Fi trackside, and the amount of noise and overlapping networks in the pit lane gave him an aneurysm. Discussion question. Would you be comfortable driving this type of car if you knew somebody could accidentally remote detonate the engine?
I mean, there's lots of cars that are very hackable.
Yeah.
And there's certain reasons why I am happy that I still have the car that I have.
Actually, I want to derail this. You had a big budget. Let's say $100,000 US.
Whoa.
So you got a big car budget.
That's like a lot of Canadian dollars.
That's a lot of Canadian. It's like 135,000, something like that. 130, 140,000 Canadian dollars. So you can basically buy any car, like functionally.
Yeah.
Like obviously, okay, you're not getting a tricked out G-Wagon, but you wouldn't, so it doesn't matter. So you got $100,000. And really what I'm getting at here is moderner features versus less moderner features, but like you could get a really nice older car for that money, or you could buy something new that would also be really nice, but it might report your driving habits to your insurance company, for example. A hypothetical example. It's not like that happened recently in the last month or so. Talk to me. 100 Acuras. Stop it, Dan.
I like that.
I was thinking you get 7 cars in 7 colors, and then you can have one for every day of the week.
I think the biggest issue at that point would be parking them.
No, you just leave it. And
Just like you go millionaire mode, but like
Go to
underwear
Walmart.
where you only wear it once, except it's cars.
yeah, exactly.
An old imported Japanese Hilux would be cool. The only I think, I don't know. This might bother some people, but driving electric cars is, I find, very not satisfying. So dropping the gas engine makes me kind of sad. Also, it would be incompatible with where I live. We have one parking spot that you can charge a car in, and Emma already has an electric car. So me having an electric car would be actually genuinely very annoying. I'd have to live off of the plugs here,
Which a lot of people do.
Or I'd be having to swap our parked positions constantly.
That would be a pain in the butt.
Which would be very annoying. So I don't really want to do that. If I did do that, there was you mean Hilux?
Yeah, that's what he said, right?
I said Hilux.
I don't know. Whatever.
Do people call it Hilux?
It's a Japanese word anyway, so.
Yeah, fair enough. I have no idea. What's the name of that band? The cars have those tall vertical oval headlights.
Oh, Rivian.
Rivian. There was a somewhat recent Rivian announcement. Is it the R3X? Is that it?
But I thought you didn't want an electric.
I don't. But then what else is super modern that I would want? I don't know.
One of these?
It's on my screen. One of these.
Yeah, R3X.
R3X. It didn't look quite the same as what was on your screen. But
That
I don't
was-
know.
this
I haven't
was
looked
three
into it a
different-
lot because
there's three
honestly,
different cars on my
there's a
screen.
0% chance I buy one.
Yeah, I know.
So
I guess what I wanted to know is would
they're cool,
would
though.
you give up that peace of mind of knowing that your car cannot be remotely accessed for modern creature comforts and performance? That's the question.
I think I will have to eventually. I will be somewhat forced to. Canada's making it so that all new cars that get sold are electric cars. All electric cars are going to have these types of features in them. I don't think there's any getting away from that. Even though it's completely unnecessary, you don't have to have an electric car that has all these smart features, and we could have cheaper cars that don't have them.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to go that route. I don't think there's going to be cars that are available that way. But yeah, I don't really want them. I'll drive my partner's car, and I'll intentionally want to drive in a certain way, but her lane assist thing will and I'm that was actually dangerous pretty much every time it happens, because I was I knew what I was doing. I was intending to do the thing that I was doing. I was driving with intention and properly, and then the car was nope, go over there, and it's whoa, man. I don't know. I found that especially bad when you're driving in construction areas, because they'll traffic cone you across a line. I'm not supposed to signal right now, but if I don't signal, the car is going to try to rip me over.
Yep.
And it's man, this is not cool, actually. I don't really like those types of features. I understand they might help some people. That's cool, whatever. I don't want them personally. I also have no interest in my car being tracked. I have no interest in any of that type of stuff. I don't need any of those features. I don't care. My car doesn't have Apple Play. My car doesn't have whatever the Android one is. Android Auto. I don't care. I just Bluetooth my phone into it. It's fine.
It's pretty nice.
I don't care.
Android Auto was a game changer for me. I would never buy a car without it.
Why? What particular feature?
Just maps.
I just put my phone up.
Yeah, but it's wireless now. So you just don't do anything. You just literally have your phone in your pocket and you're just in your car, and then everything just works.
I get in my car with my phone in my hand and I go, and then it's done.
Which is fine. But
I don't need to spend an incredible amount more money to automate that. I could do that just fine. I'll be all right. I don't know.
I love it.
I'm not against it, to be clear.
I love it.
I don't have a huge issue with Android Auto being in my car. I just don't care at all because my phone can do the thing already. I'm gaining no functionality.
Bent Bob says Luke just disrupted Android Auto.
Yeah, with phones. No, people like this stuff. I understand. I'm not in the majority here. I just don't care.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Luke is the biggest tech Luddite. I don't agree either. I just don't care about that.
Yep.
I care more about what my car can do, how resilient my car is, those types of things.
See, I'm surprised you didn't come up with something cool. Like this was posted by Langley Man in the chat. You could buy 2 of these. 94 RX-7, 5-speed manual, extensive modifications. Dang.
I almost
me
bought an
after
RX-7.
a cold shower.
My car that I have outside was almost an RX-7. I was shopping for RX-7s before I got that one. The reason why I didn't get one is because I don't fit very well in the car.
Yeah, that's fair
It's
enough.
very small.
Poor
Cool
Luke.
though, rotary engine. Well, maybe. This guy's done a lot of work to it. It might be something else at this point. But
Oh, there's no way you could still call it an RX-7 without it having a rotary engine. Come on.
yeah, people still would.
The good old wanker modal. Wanker modal? Wanker, whatever.
I thought it was
No,
like
it's Wankle. It's Wankle.
Okay.
I was just trying to get you to,
All right.
and then I did it wrong. Don't worry about it. Oh my God, it's so funny. I can't, the people, like enthusiasts for this stuff are so predictable. Every single time I say that, they immediately unironically correct me. It's like, guys, I know. That's probably my phone blowing up from someone internally who's upset about it. Just relax. I know. Yes, Wankle. Okay.
I'm 6'4" and fitting in NA Miata. I've actually had people tell me that I should try sitting in a Miata. My biggest thing is I'm like tall average, I'd say. But almost all my height is in my torso. It's weird. I'll sit next to people that are many inches taller than me, and we look the same height, and then we stand up, and I'm like short compared to them. It's odd. I constantly get people that will, because like if I sit up, my chair is at the bottom, his is at the top, and if I sit up properly, I'm still taller than he is. People constantly at shows will come up to me and say that I'm a lot shorter than they expected. Did you know this?
Really?
I get that every single time I go to a show, at least one person. And the answer is always because they see our delta and expect me to be like enormous.
Right, okay.
And I'm like, well, no, my torso is just really tall. And we're often auto-correcting for like leg length. I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. So I have traditionally had a bit of an issue with sitting in cars, but everyone tries to like scoot their seat up to give me extra leg room. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually not the problem. That's like not going to help me very much at all, actually. My legs are probably fine.
Oh, poor Luke.
Yeah, it's
tough to be Luke.
No, it's all right, actually.
What else we got today? Yes, the FTC tells tech companies to fix their bloody warranty policies. They've sent warning letters to ASRock, Gigabyte, and Zotac for placing warranty void if removed stickers on and in their products. According to the FTC, this wording may discourage users from maintaining and repairing their devices in violation of their legal rights. Furthermore, the FTC warned that implying that continued warranty coverage requires the use of specific parts or services may result in law enforcement action. According to the letters, companies have 30 days to review their promotional materials and warranties and to correct any violations. I like that.
Did they send them to other companies, or are these just the companies that are like interesting to our audience?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It would feel pretty weird if it was like singled out to these 3 companies, to be honest.
8 companies.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense.
Aris Health, Blue Air, Medify Air, Oranzi, Treadmill Company in Movement, ASRock, Zotac, and Gigabyte. Companies that market and sell gaming PCs, graphics chips, motherboards, and other accessories.
This is good, though.
Yeah, it's good. More. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Okay, what else we got today? We're supposed to do topics or merch messages, Dan?
Well, it's up to you. We're out of order now. We still got about, 45 minutes until WAN After Dark, so you're in charge.
Let's do those 3 because we got to do them at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, can do. Let's see. Hello, WAN.DillPickles. Linus, now that you're officially 5 months post-beard, how's it going? Personally think you look much better without it.
Wow, that's a controversial take. I still. Should I go get it?
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right. Is there another one I can answer?
Yeah, I think I have one here for
Nice.
Luke.
Nice.
Hi guys, hope you're all well. Luke, hope your brother is enjoying his job. I've been in the service here for 7 months now. Has your brother told you about any cool tech used at work?
He talks to me about like the different features on the trucks. Like I went to his hall to tour his hall one time, and he was showing me some of the features on the trucks that were really interesting and cool. The Wildlands truck is super interesting. But outside of that, I don't particularly think so. Unless we've probably had this conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Unless you're talking about the features on the trucks.
Got another one for you
You're talking to me
here?
about new helmets that are getting soon. They look super sick. I don't know. Yeah.
More?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Question for Slick. I think that's you, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel that roles of tech lead and engineering manager are distinct, particularly for software engineering roles?
If you have both, yeah. I don't think you necessarily need to have both. I think you can have a person who fills both of those roles, but I think it's also like if you have two people doing those two roles, they're different roles. But I do think that it is possible for one person to do both, if that makes sense. I don't think a ton of people are going to want to do both. They're quite different things. One of them is more management of people, and the other one is more management of like tasks and quality and standards and different things like that. So you could find someone that wants to do both, but I often find that people that like doing the tech lead side of things don't want to deal with the more management-y side of things, and the managing side of things, people often can't do the other side. So it is what it is. Tech lead is closer to an IC. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Wow. It looks pretty good, actually.
Okay. So to catch those of you up who don't know about this, I'm working on a little painting project on my bike. So ignore this part. That's kind of a lighter shade. The inner part has the effect layer applied to it. And unfortunately, right, so I'm keeping the beard off at least until, hold on, we'll get to it. I'm keeping the beard off at least until I finish this so that I can maintain a good seal with my mask. Now, looks pretty cool, right? Only one small problem. When I spin it, if you look here, you can see it's not even. So I didn't manage to get the mid coat even enough. This has to be blasted and completely redone. Unfortunately.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot though. I'm having fun. Get it balanced at a tire shop. Yeah, sure thing.
That's not what he
That's good.
That is
Yep.
pretty good.
So anyway, the good news is that the evenness on the frame seems good enough, and that was by far most of the work that I've done so far. And because it's not in motion the same way, you won't notice as much if there is a little bit of unevenness. But the wheels absolutely just need to be completely redone.
You should take this opportunity to do a mustache.
No, I really don't need to do that.
You could, though.
Sideburns into mustache.
So I think the sideburns are still potentially an issue with the mask if they go far enough
That's
down.
true.
Yeah.
But the mustache is a classic
why don't you
because
get
it
one of
doesn't
the-
interfere with the mask.
You just got one of the whole head mask things, right? And then it just seals at the neck.
No.
Okay, I got one more here for you, and then you can move on. Hi, LDL. I'm an intern at a company who makes LiFi. And no, that's not a spelling mistake. Have you ever heard of this? If so, any thoughts? Love the vids. Keep them up.
Yeah,
heard of it.
it requires direct line of sight in order to transfer data, right? Yeah, light to transmit data and position between devices. Yeah, it's super cool if I recall correctly. There's also wireless power that we made a video about like ages ago, and like not dangerous microwave your flesh like wireless power, like totally like working wireless power. Like you just have like a wireless power hub And as long as it has line of sight to a device, they negotiate a link, and like you could just charge a device, like your phone. If it had a receiver for it, you could just like pop it on the desk and it would just sit and charge. But they just haven't seen the kind of adoption that they would need in order for them to gain any momentum. Neither of them, as far as I can tell. What does LiFi like do these days? Why does it matter now? I can't remember.
Military security.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, any areas that are susceptible to electromagnetic interference. Yeah, okay, I could see that being kind of useful. But I just don't really see what the point of it would be for consumers.
I don't think it is super consumer. Like the second thing on people also ask when you just Google LiFi is, why did LiFi fail? But people clearly still make it, not just because of this merge message, but because there's like stuff possible to be purchased. So I'm sure there's industries that use it and probably use it quite well. But yeah, I don't think it picked up on the consumer side.
Yeah, I still remember why charge technology. I still remember when I saw these guys at Computex. They had a train running in their booth that was being powered wirelessly. It had no batteries in it. And so we invited them out to kind of do a demo on site for us. And we basically just have their wireless transmitter somewhere. I forget where it is. Yeah, somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. So it was like a light fixture that had the wireless power transmitter in it. And it could power this train. I think we showed the train running in the intro. Yeah, there you go. So I'm sitting in the middle of it to show, there's no wires, there's no cables, no tomfoolery, just wireless power being transmitted to these little trains.
That's kind of wild. Yeah,
and it didn't take off because this has been debunked. Guys, there's nothing to bunk or debunk. It works. What are you talking about? The problem is that the cost didn't make any sense to integrate into devices. That was the challenge. And so when I talked to them at this point 6 years ago, they were thinking less along the lines of, convincing phone manufacturers to work a receiver into their extremely space-constrained devices, and we're thinking more along the lines of like retrofitting facilities, for example. So, like if you're a cafe, you have your wireless power transmitter in the middle of the cafe, and then you have receivers built into the tables, and now you can offer phone charging through a USB cable, like at the table, but you don't have to go like wire up all your tables, right? So that was one of the ideas that they were exploring, but it just clearly didn't work out, because I doubt these guys still exist at this point. I haven't heard about them since then. Oh, dude, do they still exist? Hold on a second. What are they up to? Okay, what's YCharge up to? Aircord. Okay, partners. Ooh, oh, no drop down. That's not a good sign. Oh, Belkin though. Okay. Various sensors embedded in the displays allow for detailed store insight. Oh, interesting. Okay, so they Y-Spot advertising display, Y-Fred smart locks.
That's a pretty good use case, actually, those little displays in stores, because you wouldn't want to run power to every single shelf and then along every single shelf if you could avoid it. But having something in the roof of like one of those like industrial style open roofs is easy to do.
Aircord products. Come on, show me products. Aircord applications, electric shades, digital signage, smart faucet, electric toothbrush. Really? Is this a mock-up or is this a product? Electric toothbrush, current limitations, battery power is limiting, blah, blah, blah. Live installations. No, this all looks like mock-up still to me. Where is an actual deployment of this? Charging pad, game controller, no. Okay, digital signage. Do you have any actual?
Yeah, bunnies. These are different things, man.
What's bunnies linking to?
Different things.
Yeah, I don't know. Bunnies, you're being exhausting right now. I can't tell what these guys are actually doing right now, if anything. Marketing and sales. Why charge Europe? Okay, hold on a second. Why charge Korea?
You should just call them.
Just call them right now?
Yeah. What do you guys do?
I mean, they're apparently hiring. Although, I heard about this recently. Apparently, it's a thing that companies will do where they'll post a whole bunch of like fake job postings on their site.
So they look like they're
to
successful?
make it seem like they're successful and
sure
growing.
That's a thing.
So half of these could be fake for all I know, but apparently they are hiring people. Whether that's true or
Maybe.
not, I have no idea. Do they still post on social media? Not since September of 2023. Anyway. Good luck, guys. I trust an actual engineer rather than a tech demo. I don't know what to tell you. I personally looked at the train. There's no battery in it. So it has limitations, which we very clearly discussed in our video. It has many limitations in terms of the number of devices that it can target at a time, in terms of the amount of power that it can transmit, but it very much works. There's nothing to bunk or debunk or unbunk or whatever exactly it is that you're talking about.
It might not be good for a lot of consumer applications.
Might not make a ton of sense, but it definitely works and it's definitely real. All right. What else we got today? Want to pick a topic?
Sure. Let's see. So we already did our main topics. That's good. We're moving. Fake news sites are pretending to be local American media outlets. A network of websites, likely based out of Russia, are producing large amounts of AI fabricated news stories while pretending to be local American news sources. They are using a combination of relatively generic newspaper names like the Boston Times, as well as the titles of old defunct news outlets. The stories themselves seem designed to appeal to a certain American audience, using charged political narratives and tropes. The most prominent of these fake stories was the claim that the wife of the president of Ukraine used American military aid money to buy a 4 million euro Bugatti from a shop in Paris. The claim was quickly debunked, as the forged invoice published alongside it contained several errors. Likewise, Bugatti released a public statement denying the allegation. Not that they'd probably be super public about their client list anyways. Nonetheless, the claim was spread widely over social media, particularly through American political influencers. Additionally, a study by NewsGuard has found that prominent AI chatbots are absorbing information from these kinds of websites and will often regurgitate political propaganda as fact, citing propaganda outlets as legitimate sources. I don't think anything here is new.
No, it's not new, but
Okay.
it's what's interesting about this particular network is just how big it appears to be and how quickly it seems to be growing. So just a shout out for our American friends out there. Just because a website looks kind of trustworthy, just because there's a lot of other sites publishing the same story, does not necessarily mean that the story is
Almost
true.
anything. I would also say this is probably happening more or less everywhere. It's just most likely being pushed on
the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
There's
Americans.
also election stuff brewing up here, though.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's America's probably one of the juiciest targets. So it's probably happening there a lot. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying this is something you should be aware of everywhere.
So just watch out, guys, because the power of ChatGPT has made it extremely easy and extremely fast. And not just ChatGPT. Like there's so many large language models these days that can create powerful, emotional content that generates a strong reaction from people. And the longer this goes on, the better they're going to get at it, because they're going to be feeding back into these models what went viral, what didn't, and they're going to be looking for patterns. So please watch out, guys.
Yeah, and in other but related news, because I thought these two things would actually connect somewhat interestingly, is Apple delists VPNs in Russia. Apple has folded due to pressure from the Russian government and removed several VPN apps from its Russian app store. Russian citizens will no longer be able to download or update these apps in Russia, at least, because you could be a Russian citizen that isn't in Russia, though those who already have them will be able to use them. The Kremlin has enacted strict online censorship for its citizens, including blocking many independent news outlets and popular social media sites. The government recently banned advertising or popularizing VPNs, including publishing instructions on how to set up a VPN. Back in March, Apple also removed an app developed by the team of now suspiciously deceased opposition politician Alexei Navalny. This app would have advised users on how to coalesce around specific opposition political candidates rather than splitting their votes across several candidates. This is the whole not having ranked first or ranked choice voting issue. Yeah. However, Apple has not sold products in Russia since the invasion. And I think this is not surprising.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of issues with Western countries right now where having a free and open web, which is fantastic, has resulted in a lot of battle for mind share by everyone in the world in a way that I think people wouldn't necessarily expect.
And if I was an authoritarian government, I'd be looking at any country with a free and open web going,
oh, wow, that's easy to take advantage of. And then you're having that thought and going, maybe ours shouldn't be the same. I get it.
I mean, Luke's saying he gets it in terms of why Russia's putting the pressure on Apple. What I'm trying to understand here is how Apple can bang their drum about caring so huggy-muggy much about user privacy while also folding to pressure like this. Yeah. And look, it's one thing if Apple's just like, yep, we're gonna value your privacy as much as we feel like it, so deal with it. Like if they were upfront about it, I wouldn't even talk about this. But they don't. Langley Man says, I take it the Russian government has not responded to Linus's offer to buy ICQ. Not at this time. What else we got? Nintendo says there will be enough Switch 2s for everybody. Nintendo's president says that the company has a bold plan to reduce scalping at the launch of the Switch 2 by making enough consoles to meet demand.
That is an interesting approach. I think this is interesting for a bunch of reasons.
The company likewise claims that the semiconductor shortages that caused supply chain issues in 2022 and 2023 have been resolved and will not affect the next console's launch. Nintendo's president likewise stated that the company isn't in any rush to embrace generative AI, saying it poses potentially serious issues with IP infringement. He likewise expressed that the company will continue to create valuable experiences for gamers that cannot be achieved through technology alone. Should I just invest in Nintendo and be done with it? Like they seem to, on the one hand, they seem like just such buttheads sometimes, but on the other hand, they seem to have a clear vision, for the next 100 years. Keep doing the thing we've been doing for over 100 years.
I mean, it's kind of worked out.
It's kind of working out for them, isn't it?
Yeah. The interesting thing about this for me, though, is how well do you think the Switch 2 is going to do?
With the right games, great. Yeah. And Nintendo's been on a bit of a
the Wii U had a lot of the
spree.
right games.
Did it though?
Yeah.
Name them.
Mario Kart 8.
That's 1.
Super Smash Bros.
Okay, 2.
Mario Brothers.
Which one?
Whatever one came out on the Wii U.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know what one came out on the Switch.
Right. Wow, that was a short list.
Galaxy? No, like they had all the usual suspects. They had all the usual suspect Nintendo games you would expect. I'm pretty sure. Breath of the Wild.
I know Breath of the Wild was on the Wii U, but realistically, the Switch had sold more units than the Wii U by the time Breath of the Wild launched, and that was a launch title. So, let's be real here. Breath of the Wild is a Switch game.
Splatoon was actually a great game. That came out on Wii U. Wii U had a bunch of good titles, genuinely.
Okay. But I think Nintendo is defining like banger as like 30 million units now. It didn't have a ton of 30 million. I mean, I think
because it didn't sell a ton of consoles. It had good games. They re-released them on Switch and then they blew up.
Okay, that's true.
That happened many times. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is literally just Mario Kart 8.
That's fair.
And it exploded on Switch.
That's fair. I don't know, man. It's tough. I think that they might be, to your point, walking into the same trap as last time, where people think that it's basically just,
well, my thing is that I think to somewhat of a cycle, it's like, aren't they on every other console cycle? Just like a lot of other things are on an every other whatever they make cycle. Like Wii U was bad. Wii U was great. Then it was GameCube before that, right?
Yeah.
GameCube
flopped.
actually sold. Did it flop?
GameCube was not very competitive.
But Nintendo 64 was a killer, wasn't it?
Nintendo actually struggled a fair bit there. GameCube sold 21.74 million units, and N64 moved 32. So GameCube was a big step down from the success of the N64, and the N64 compared to the PlayStation 1 sold a third as many. Like Nintendo,
PlayStation 1 was crazy.
Yeah, PlayStation 1 was a killer.
Yeah. Well, I hope it goes well for them. It's a fairly bold take to say, like, we're going to combat scalpers because there's going to be enough Switch 2s for everyone.
Yeah.
That's a really strong take.
They may be right. I mean, the rumor is the hardware has basically been finished for over a year, and game developers are just like working on games now. So they may pull it off where they're basically
they
just
have
like,
an insane launch list.
We're going to have a great game library, and we're going to have ample availability. Let's go. I do wonder if there would be I do wonder if there would be like a negative impact to having enough, though. Like, think about
part of the hype cycle is people can't buy them.
Yeah, think about how often it's in the news, like when someone scalps it or when it reaches a new high on eBay or blah 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 blah.
As
blah.
annoying as it was for everyone that you couldn't buy PS5s like at all, everyone was talking about how PlayStation was winning the war
because you couldn't buy PS5s.
Yeah,
and you could find an Xbox on a shelf.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the optics of there being enough Switch 2s will actually be terrible.
I wonder if
for
that's
Nintendo.
why they're seeding this.
Maybe.
Trying to like tell people early, like, there's going to be enough. It's still interesting, I promise.
Oh man, we've got a few more things to talk about here. YouTube adds takedown requests for deepfakes. YouTube has added the ability for people to request the removal of realistic synthetic impersonations, be they image, video, or audio. While deepfake misinformation can be reported by anybody, only the relevant person or their guardian will be able to request removal of these kinds of fakes.
That makes sense.
However, a request doesn't necessarily guarantee removal. There are other factors that go into the decision, such as whether the synthetic impersonation is clearly marked as AI generation, whether or not it's realistic enough to be believable, whether the person is shown doing something reputation damaging, or whether the impersonation is a work of parody. So it sounds like there's a lot of gray area here. YouTube is likewise rolling out an erase song feature, which will allow creators to remove copyright-claimed music from a video while keeping the rest of the audio intact. That's super cool. Love that. And should we move to After Dark? Is there anything else here that you particularly feel the need to talk about?
No.
Oh, actually, the EU charging Meta is not bad under the Digital Markets Act. So they're saying that Meta's EU-specific version of its social platforms, where users can choose either a paid, ad-free subscription or a free account with targeted ads, doesn't go far enough to comply with the spirit of the law. According to EU regulators, Meta must offer an equivalent, non-personalized service to users who choose to not have targeted ads. I love it. The EU has previously laid similar charges against Apple for their anti-steering rules preventing third-party sellers from directing customers toward other payment options. Microsoft has been charged over its bundling of Teams with the rest of their productivity suite on the grounds that it gives Teams an unfair distributional advantage over other messaging services. Love it. Good job, EU. You screwed up some stuff recently, but this is good. All right, let's do it. It's After Dark time.
Yeah.
Dan.
Woo.
And WAN Show After Dark is brought to you by private internet access, I think, right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get a special deal exclusive to us by using the link in the video description. In terms of why you would want a VPN, hey, if you don't know, there's a solid chance you don't need one. But if you're a filthy pirate, then you might want to use one.
If you're in Russia, get an Android and sideload it.
Yeah.
I guess.
I guess.
I
mean, this is not legal advice.
No.
Like, you could end up dead.
Yeah.
So, careful with that.
Yeah. All right.
Russia, watch out.
I'm not saving you from this one, Luke.
Go ahead, Dan.
Come on.
Sure thing. Hey, from the UK. Would LTT ever consider doing more formal merch like suits? I work in a formal setting, but would still love to rep some merch.
No.
Yeah,
that would be the most niche thing ever. Thank you for the wonderful suggestion.
We saw at least 4.
Yeah, we could do LTT produced cosplay outfits while we're at it. You know,
that might sell just as many.
Yeah, we'll do the tuxedo and the mask, so you can cosplay formally.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Did you get it now? The mask? Yeah. Anyways.
Don't.
Wait,
let's see.
What?
I thought you were talking about the mask because he wears a suit in that show.
No.
Oh, I'm talking about Tuxedo Mask.
Oh.
From Sailor Moon.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about, here, one sec. See, look, he wears a suit.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
The Mask. You know what? I did watch Happy Gilmore recently. It holds up shockingly well. I watched it with my son.
We talked about that earlier in this show.
Did we? Oh, it was pre-show.
Oh,
Yeah,
never
it was
mind.
pre-show.
I haven't heard this story before.
Okay, forget it. Anyway, I love Happy Gilmore still, and my son was like busting a gut watching it with me. It was great. Yeah, no, this would be the cosplay.
My understanding is you would probably get sued into oblivion.
Yeah.
I mean, really, can they sue you for making a tuxedo and a mask? I mean, he doesn't even have a mask. So our mask would be an original addition to the outfit. All right. If you like Adam Sandler. No. To be clear, I'm not saying that I think every Adam Sandler movie is great. This is a funny conversation I had on set today. During the pandemic, Tanner in his SO apparently tried to watch all 50 or 60 or whatever Adam Sandler movies. Why? I don't know. But a game that Tanner started playing was, is there a woman in this movie who finds Adam Sandler irresistibly attractive?
Nice.
And it was all but one.
Nice.
Literally, even his first self-funded indie film apparently had a woman character who found him irresistibly attractive. It's just
is that bad? That's a very normal trope in stories.
It is, but it just seems to happen a lot.
Right.
In an Adam Sandler
He's
Sandler
always
verse.
the main character, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's almost always going to be a love interest for the main
Yeah.
character. Yeah. I don't know.
So what you're saying is that your film, written by you, directed by you, and starring you,
which will never happen,
would have you be irresistibly attractive to a member of the opposite sex.
If I wanted to have a love interest part of the thing, which is extremely normal, especially in comedy things, then yeah, probably.
Okay. But you'd be irresistibly attractive.
Obviously.
I mean, I wouldn't argue against it, to be very clear.
I think it's just easy, normal. I'm just not surprised, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's necessarily good. It's not deep, but he's probably writing a comedy, so that part of the show / movie is probably not supposed to be super deep. So, I don't know.
I mean, you'd probably go with the nepotism route and just hire your current partner, and then you would also save money.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have to fight about the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I have personally experienced Newegg and Amazon selling returned used motherboards as new and trying to hide it. There are security and anti-cheat, hardware ID bans, concerns with this. Thoughts?
That's terrible.
That sucks.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I think that's been a thing that people have been talking about for a bit. I haven't experienced it, luckily.
I think, man, the more I think about
Call it out every time it happens.
the more I think it's time for LTTLabsstore.com. Just we only carry stuff that we validate is good, and we only sell, not scummy stuff, and we just are...
What do you do with stuff if you end up like, if, okay, this thing is good, we buy a certain amount of it, we have a certain amount of sell-through rate of that thing, and then a new thing comes in that we review that we think is better? What do you do with the stuff that now isn't as good?
Well, you have to assume that just because it isn't as good relative to new stuff doesn't mean that it's not good.
If something changes? Just like throw it all out?
No. What we would probably have to figure out is some kind of negotiation with manufacturers where, based on our purchase terms, we can stock rotate inventory if they screw it up. I mean, stock rotation is a thing. It's difficult to negotiate, but it is a thing. And maybe they should not screw up their stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it could work.
Mad Economist says, wake up, babe. New Linus debt source just dropped.
Yeah, really.
More?
Oh, yeah.
If you want to do it, we'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's going to be up to the management team. I don't just make unilateral decisions anymore.
Nice.
Hey,
fun, Taryn.
Sorry. Hey, Lan, Duke, and Dinus. This is for Linus, but what improvements do you think need to be made to baby tech, besides just security, to make it semi-worth picking up? Also, when more tall sizes?
Man, I got to be honest with you. We didn't use much. We used a baby monitor, so just a live audio feed. I'd love to have better range on that, I guess. I know a lot of people use video ones now. They were expensive back when I got a baby monitor, and I just like never really felt like I needed it. Like it's in a cage. Like what do you need to see exactly? It yells when it's mad. And you know what? There's edge cases, right, where something goes wrong, and your video baby monitor could have been the thing that saved it or whatever, and so you might swear by it, personally. But it never really came up for us.
I feel like that's a statement only someone who's had multiple kids would say. Because like that sounds like something that's similar to like something that I'd hear Colton say.
I mean, yeah, but like,
what do you really want? It's in a cage. It'll yell if it's mad. Sounds very like everyone that I know that has multiple kids sounds like that.
Well, look, what you realize is that there's only so much time and energy, and this thing is sapping both of them from you at a rate that is as great as you allow it to be.
Right.
Like our first child, okay?
I'm not saying it's bad, to be clear. It's just
our first child. Every bottle, every soother, anything that could have possibly gone in his mouth, man, we were on it with the boiled water and we had the special, we were so worried about using the same towel to put things on to dry it out twice because it might have milk molecules from the last time sitting bacteriaing on this towel from the last time. So if he dropped one of his little tooth soother toys or something, man, that was going straight in the pile to be disinfected and then cleaned, and then we could give it back to him after it had been air dried or whatever. And then by the time it was our second one, it was like a quick rinse under the sink, here you go. And then by the time we came around to the third one, wipe it on the pants, pop it back in her mouth, and she's good to go, right? It's because you don't...
And they're all fine.
You don't have time for that. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, because when you have just one, you allow yourself to parent them too much, I think. And so we really... I knew a lot already because I'm one of 5. And I'm one of the older ones, so I witnessed a lot of these changes over time, but I really have learned even more that having too few things in your life to take care of can cause you to over care for them in ways that can actually be detrimental in the longer term. So it was definitely a good thing that, the last one didn't get kind of pampered in that way, I think.
Yeah.
And tall sizes?
Sorry?
Tall sizes when?
Oh, I think we're just waiting on the next big T-shirt order. All the grading, which is what it's called when you work out the sizes. All the grading is done. And spoiler alert, there might be some deals on blank T-shirts for Lime Day. So once we blow away some inventory in some of the colors that are not moving as well, then it might be time for a restock, and we might be bringing in the tall sizes.
I think that does not mean we're a go for Lime Day, to be clear.
What?
Dan and I are communicating telepathically right now.
Okay.
Do they come in packs of 50?
I mean, no.
We could group buy if you did. I think that's what's going
would be
on.
a 50 pack. Anyway.
We're very excited about tall shirts. Okay?
I'm going to be the reason they're out of stock.
There's like a small army of people at the company that are just instantly going to buy a large amount of tall
This is the thing about like tall sizes is the people who want them are like obsessed.
I suspect there isn't a huge amount of us, but the ones that do exist will
It's like
order
a
many.
loud minority, right?
That one like lanky sized shirt that we had sold like, I couldn't even believe it. It's crazy.
Because, I mean, we have 4 options.
I will instantaneously replace all of my t-shirts, and I'm not kidding.
I am the same. I can buy from one company right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just checking what our total loss is today.
Like when I go to the gym,
it's
and I
gonna
do
be a
certain
lot.
workouts, I don't own a shirt that can keep me covered.
Same.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll wear like a muscle shirt, a shirt. A shirt underneath it just to keep everything like
Yeah. Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Guys, you are not doing a very good job of buying other stuff other than the track joggers and track
Absolutely
jacket to help
not.
make up for it.
No, they
Come on,
are
get,
not.
Get on it, you guys. You're killing me here. Anyway. What's next?
Let's have a look here. Our company offers fiber connections for home and business.
Nice.
We can support up to 10 gigs.
Nice.
Our company does not offer 10 gig to business customers, though. We only offer them DIA, which, why not offer both?
Sorry, a DIA?
Yeah, I think that's, I had a quick Google of this earlier. That's like the intranet thing.
So so you're talking like a service, like a site-to-site location. I mean,
To dedicated internet access. Provides
Yeah.
business with a private connection to the internet.
So it's not split shared bandwidth across neighbors, blah, 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 blah.
oh,
I
okay.
think TELUS just does this, by the way, for like everybody. Or at least they did a long time ago or something. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Okay.
So they can get a 1 gig line, but it is definitely only theirs, is I think what he's saying with DIA.
Like you always get 1 gig, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Interesting. Yeah, the only reason that I could think of is that the rates that you could charge these businesses just wouldn't make sense because they would have to be literally 10 times the amount of the 1 gig connection. Whereas you can offer 10 gig to regular consumers, knowing that out of 100 people, only a few of them are going to be using it heavily at a given time. And so you're going to be able to share that. You also don't need to guarantee that they're going to be able to get those speeds all the time, because a consumer connection, if it dips to 6 gigabit, A, they probably won't notice, and B, they're going to have no recourse because you don't have any kind of SLA with them that guarantees that connection speed. So that would be my guess, is that they can't guarantee 10 gig speed all the time.
I agree.
At least at a reasonable cost. So they're just like, screw it. Let's just, rather than have a product that we know we can't fulfill, let's just not offer the product.
Yeah. So maybe they'll offer it eventually.
That's just me guessing, though. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Hey, the Land Duke and Dinus. With Nintendo saying that there won't be a chip shortage, do you believe that it's just that, or that they're using lower powered hardware?
Both. I mean, that's one of the ways to make sure that you don't have a shortage of a chip is to use an older process node where there's lots of capacity. And Ampere would be, I think, a pretty good example of that, where like older, cheap tablet SoCs are not going to be built on such a cutting edge node as what is that, TSMC 7 nanometer? I'm trying to remember. NVIDIA Ampere, is it 7 nanometer? Yeah, Ampere is the largest 7 nanometer chip ever built. Yeah, so Ampere was 7 nanometer. However, I've heard rumors that the Switch 2 SoC is going to be like 6 nanometer or something like that. Anyway, the point is that you're kind of in that middle ground where cheapo garbage stuff is not going to be manufactured on that node, and the latest iPhone is past it already. So it could be like a nice middle ground where there's ample capacity. I'm just guessing based on, some small amounts of things that I know about that business. I've never actually worked in chip manufacturing.
Hey, LLD, question for mostly Linus. You play a lot of Beat Saber. have you ever been into other rhythm games, Guitar Hero, DDR, etc.?
No, I would probably enjoy the crap out of DDR though.
Oh yeah, you would.
Like I've played it a couple of times and it seems like a blast, but I suck so much, and DDR machines are almost always in public places where I feel super self-conscious playing them as a complete beginner. So I just would rather not. It's actually one of the reasons that I didn't play much in the arcades in Japan. They're way more affordable than here, which is super cool. Like I would always read stories or watch videos about how like, arcades are where people will hang out all day at the arcade. And I'm like, with what money? Because when I was a kid, going to the arcade was friggin' expensive.
I mean, I don't know if I would say it's necessarily cheap.
But I would go with my allowance and I'd be done in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that was my weekly allowance. Like the idea that you could hang out in the arcade was ridiculous to me. But over there, like you give a little bit of money and you like play for a while, even if you're not, expert tier. But when I was over there, man, like some of the people really do look like they live there. Like they're so good that I would feel inadequate sitting down at the machine next to them, putting in my money, and like they're like going like this on some friggin' rhythm game, and I'd be like, do, 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 do. I don't know, man. Yeah, Beat Saber, great. I've never really gotten into another rhythm game though.
Hi, DLL. Linus is a longtime lover of Anno 1800 myself. Are there any Anno 117 updates, features, quality of life changes that you're hoping to see?
This is going to be super unpopular, but I would actually like to see, I'd like to see a little bit more military. I love Anno 1800. I know, right? Hear me out. As someone who has always enjoyed RTS, like purely military RTS, it is something I do find myself missing in Anno sometimes. The siege mechanism in Anno 1800, where ultimately you conquer an island by destroying by besieging the main port, essentially, is pretty shallow. And I would like to see different options.
Yeah. I don't know that I would want to see it be more of a focus of the actual gameplay, but having the siege mechanics be better would be cool.
I also wouldn't mind seeing the entire thing replaced with trade blockades. So instead of just destroying one building, if effectively the way to besiege an island would be to defeat its navy and prevent essential shipments or something like that. I think something like that could be really interesting because you can blockade an island, but the AIs seem to just cheat. Like Luke and I actually started a new game recently against like super hard AI with like sort of everything dialed up against us. And one of the things that we noticed was that while there were definitely some missteps because neither of us had played in a while, there were things the AIs were doing that didn't really seem possible with the starting resources unless they were just getting free resources. They seem to be cheating AIs. And so I would like to see a completely fair AI that has to rely on exactly the same challenges buying from free traders and stuff like that you do.
That was pretty frustrating to run into. I suspect that's like a bit harder of an AI to write than for most games.
I also don't.
I know it's a weird game.
I also don't know what would be involved in this, but I would love to see the management of trade routes be just somehow better. Like just I don't know. Good luck, Anno team.
Hi, DLL. Last week, Luke mentioned that he was trying to take public transport more often. I was wondering why, and maybe if he's been having a positive experience. I love talking the VTA in San Jose. Taking the VTA, sorry, it's split.
No.
Well, that's Vancouver public transit for you.
That's why.
Yeah.
So I try to take more public transit often when I'm away from home. Here, it's not really possible. Getting from where I live to work on public transit only is would be a horrible experience. Now, getting to and from seemingly basically anywhere when I was in Taiwan, yeah, absolutely, take public transit. The buses were better, the trains were better, the high-speed rail existed, all that type of stuff. I would love it if we had high-speed rail from Vancouver to like Kelowna, Kamloops. That would be awesome. I think would really open up BC in a big way, because there's a lot of people that just are not willing to do that drive because there's some parts of it that are like
actually treacherous.
Yes.
Especially with all the deer and stuff.
Like people's parents tell their kids not to do the drive when they newly have a car. This is a thing. If you could travel there,
it's dangerous.
If someone from Kelowna or Kamloops could take a train so that they could come into Vancouver and see like a Canucks game, and let's say drink at the Canucks game, so they're able to safely commute home on the train instead of driving.
Nap on the train while they go home.
Nap on the train, do whatever. If people from out there, Hope, Kelowna, Kamloops, etc., could take high-speed rail into Vancouver to
We've
work,
got the West Coast Express,
and then go back,
and
then go back home
joke.
after work because they're on a train that's super fast. That would really open the province up. We have this weird problem where everybody's stuffed in this weird, broken, sinking corner. And it just sucks.
And privatizing public transit was not the solution.
No.
You know why the UBC routes are always like overpacked? Because everyone who rides them has a Go card. And they're not profitable. So they don't care.
Transit shouldn't be profitable.
It's not the point of it. It's infrastructure, for crying out loud. That's what our taxes are supposed to pay for.
Why don't we have a SkyTrain in Langley?
Well, it's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, but like our sky...
They voted it down last time.
Don't even get me
don't
started
know.
on the SkyTrain, because I argue with people about Vancouver public transit. They'd be like, it's really good. You got the SkyTrain. It's like, and especially back then, it was like...
They've probably never been
there were
anywhere
like
else.
2 lines. And Vancouver is the entire Greater Vancouver Regional District. It's not just the city of Vancouver. And as soon as you go outside of just there, it's atrocious. It's horrible.
UCR Buffalo said, too many people feel they need their autonomy too. I'm not saying to take autonomy away. I feel like you have more autonomy if you have the ability to high-speed rail to Kelowna or Kamloops.
When I was going to
you
school.
could decide to zoop out there really fast, even if you don't have a car, or if your car might not make it the whole way, or whatever else.
GM Shippo says, this is me whenever someone complains that the U.S. Post Office isn't profitable. It's not the point. Was it ever profitable? I mean, okay, maybe, but still, it doesn't matter. Like the whole rain, snow, sleet, hail, blah, blah, nothing stops the mail. Like, that's not because that's profitable. That's because that's just public infrastructure that like is needed. Equipped says Japanese rail is private. However, Japanese culturally...
There are very annoying parts about that.
...is an extremely different place
also
than North America.
Big time. It's really annoying in Japan when you have to like switch stations, but the stations are right next to each other. The only real reason why I need to switch stations is because they're different companies.
Yeah.
It's like, what's happening?
And like I couldn't find...
But the train in Japan is light years ahead of where we are, obviously.
I couldn't find the platform for a train I was trying to take because technically the like part of the terminal that I was standing in was owned by the other one. So they had
signs.
So they had no signs for it.
I ran into that problem.
I was so angry. It's like actually extremely angry.
There are some signs for the competing ones before people freak out, but yeah.
Yeah, not enough. And not at that station. Okay.
Any thoughts on TrueNAS Scale dropping support for true charts and removing 700 out of the 800 apps available for their users?
Linus is invested in an upcoming NAS software
Dropping
solution
support for true charts.
that is, to be fair, mostly tuned for individual home users that don't want to get super into the weeds, so it might not be dealing with what you're talking about, but
dude, I
that up real
hadn't
quick.
I hadn't seen this news. Where is this? True Charts has been May 27th.
I think it's the other way around.
I just moved to Scale.
I think it's the other way around. Someone in chat pointed this out, and I Googled it, and it looks more true. Yeah, a Chow 101 or a Chow 101, I'm not sure, said True Charts is dropping support for TrueNAS Scale, which is the other way that it said. And I Googled that and started finding more information on it.
Interesting.
So I think it's the other way around.
Scale users of introducing Talos Linux. Our alternative will be based on Talos.
They already cut TrueNets with the True Charts with the new update. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what way it's going, but something is happening there for sure. Scale already dropped it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Sorry, guys. I don't know enough about this to have any thoughts on
we don't
it.
have a topic prepped on it or anything.
Yep.
But if you're a user of these things, maybe keep your eyes out.
Yeah, that'd be a bummer.
I will. I'm on.
So they're
Scale
moving
now.
away from Kubernetes, not True Chart specific. Okay, that also makes sense.
Okay. Hi, LLD. Just started playing Anno 1800. What DLCs would you recommend?
None. Start with
You
the
don't
base
need
game,
it. Yeah.
which is a great, rich experience.
Yes.
And then when you're bored, which will be after many, many dozens of hours,
Yes.
then have a look at which DLCs you like that sound appealing.
Yep. And honestly, it is very likely going to make sense to add one. It probably makes sense, depending on how they do the pricing, to buy a season at a time.
Yep.
Because there's like 4 or 5 seasons or something.
Or by the time you're bored, buy like the whole whack, because I think they're done development on the game. So maybe there'll be like an all-you-can-eat at some point. That's reasonably
Depending on the
priced.
bundle sales,
Yeah.
yeah. But if they don't have a bundle sale for the whole whack, what I was going to say was that you could get one season at a time, because it actually comes with a lot of content in that one season. Like their expansions are actually sick. They're huge amounts of content like every time. So if you're not like 100% sure you're going to get them all, you could piecemeal it. Or if you're like, yeah, this game's amazing, and buy them all, that's also a very acceptable way to play the game. It'll just be a lot of information hitting you at once when you buy all the updates, because it is a huge amount of content. Yeah.
I don't know if Luke did this one, or maybe I did, but how would you recommend configuring an old computer as a NAS? I'm looking at RAID Z1, but I don't know how many drives I should end up with.
Oh
Okay.
man, this is a long conversation that
Forum?
you know what? Yeah, try posting on the LTT forum and see if someone is willing to kind of have a look at this for you. But
I think there'll be more NAS recommendation stuff when that company...
Yeah, so I'm invested in a NAS software startup, and hopefully they will be, well, not hopefully, their plan is to build out, wizards and stuff that will make it easy for people like you to just throw together hardware and kind of go, hey, configure this for me. That's the idea.
I built a carbon copy of our Johnsbow NAS video. First time I've ever done that, and that's been fantastic.
Oh, yeah, or you could just follow one of our previous NAS videos.
The Johnsbow one is amazing.
That's totally an option.
Yep.
I'm planning on moving from the little NAS that I have now to like a more serious solution when that software releases, as long as they do a pricing model that doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out.
I'm a design engineering manager for a major defense company and do a lot of VBA automation to keep my team lean. Is VBA really bottom of the barrel? It seems to work for us. Zero formal coding.
It works for a lot of people. I don't know. Like I've got a buddy that does a bunch of VBA stuff for his work, but he has no formal training in like software development, and he was able to make his team a lot more efficient just through VBA stuff. I don't know. It's fine.
if it's stupid and it works, is it stupid?
Yeah, I don't know. Seems okay. People are saying that VBA is about to be removed. That sucks. I don't know.
Hi, LMG.dll. Linus, you said, even today, that you've had no issues with your 7900 XTX, but have you played any Helldivers 2?
I haven't.
I and many others with the card have been unable to play.
Oh, really?
I'm very sorry to hear that. I have not tried to play Helldivers 2. It sounds like I kind of
it's still
missed
an
the
issue.
hype on it, though. It's down to like 10% of its peak player base.
Lot of controversies.
But that was a really high peak.
Okay.
Okay,
Relax.
Are you emotionally invested in Helldivers?
Relax.
Are you offended? Are you mad?
I'm a little offended.
Brother, are you...
This was a
Brother,
very
are you angry?
annoying news article to see go around. This happens with like every single game
What you don't? What Pal
game.
World's not as popular as it was when it started?
Exactly.
Are you serious
there
right now?
There were articles of that.
Why are so few people playing Dark Souls right now?
There are articles
Actually, there are a
about
lot
that.
of people playing Dark Souls. Right now,
well, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Especially because the new expansion.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there was articles about how few people were playing Elden Ring months after it came out. Like people play a game and then stop playing it eventually. What's happening? And especially with a game like Helldivers that was like incredibly wildly popular. Yeah, it's going to decrease over time. Relax. The fact that still 10% of people are still actively playing a game that is effectively the same thing over and over again is a lot. I'm surprised it's that much.
I'm trying to figure out what you hate right now.
How long has it been?
I mean, it's obvious you're a hater. I just am not sure what it is that you hate. Do you hate Helldivers 2 for being the same game over and over?
No.
Or do you hate people for not playing it?
Nope.
Or do you hate people for playing it a lot?
Nope. I hate the reporting. It's garbage, boring, lame reporting.
Anyway.
Reporting that like, oh, this many players are still playing and this is our thoughts on it is interesting, but oh my God, only 10% of players are still playing. Whoa, headlines is so junk. It's so annoying.
I would have expected you to understand that negative sentiment sells.
I understand it. I just don't like it.
There you go. There's your thesis statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have missed out on being able to be a noob and have no idea what's going on though. And so that's something that I kind of wish I had jumped into.
Well, it is a fairly small lobby game. So you'll play with a maximum of 4 people total.
Yeah,
so you
and
could
then
find
I'll
other people to play with.
Drag everything down.
Yeah,
they're getting upset about the meta. Like it's a co-op game and people are angry if you don't use the discovered optimal layout.
Okay, but I never ran into this. That's been a thing that's been reported since the beginning of Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Since the first week, people were talking about, I'm getting kicked out of lobbies because whatever. And I'm sure that happened like once. Never had that problem once. And I have always used weird builds in that game. So like, I think this is a very small issue that people glommed on because it was almost entirely positive reporting about the game. So people are like, there's something negative? Let's talk about that all the time. Yeah, people in chat are like, it's not a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think it's a big deal. There's toxic people in every single community that you can voluntarily join and exit at any time. There will be toxic people in that community, assuming it reaches some amount of critical mass.
Speaking of toxic communities, can we discuss how fake the viewer counts are on Twitter? 5,876. Oh, okay, hold on. If that's... Wait, views? Okay, if that's the number of people who have like
tuned in and then exited,
scrolled past it at all, then I believe it.
Total views.
But it is...
Because it doesn't say viewers.
Yeah, it is an absolute ghost.
If you're watching on Twitter, say something.
Ghost town. Oh, nope. Don't say anything because you're a Twitter user. No one cares what you think.
I don't think previous chat is visible.
Yeah, I know, but I've been in there for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
it's dead.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, it's dead.
Yeah. Great. A couple more for you here. Hello, DLD. What is most high-tech company or place that you have been to that was seemingly low-tech before going?
Oh. Well, I don't go to many places that I expect to be low-tech.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of thing I go out of my way to do.
I feel like I usually have a pretty solid idea of the technical level of the things that I go to.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll go to like a restaurant that is... Oh, no, I did. I went to a restaurant recently where it was like... Where was I? I traveled recently. Where did I go? Oh, yeah. I was in... oh, man, what's it called?
I think it's the other way around, Sop Cannon. I was going to say, I find more places that I'm surprised how low-tech they are instead of how high-tech they are.
I was in Centralia, Washington, which is population.
That's not going to be true about Taiwan. Everyone knows Taiwan is high-tech.
Yeah. So I was in Centralia, Washington, which has a population of just under 19,000 people last weekend.
Pretty small.
And I was in just like kind of a bar eating establishment, and they were extremely...
Linus drinks confirmed.
They were extremely like... I don't know. They were very techie. Like, it wasn't like in Japan where, there's no menus, everything's just a QR code and you like order on your phone and it just appears at your table. Like, it wasn't that, but the servers very much had like a really nice app interface on their tablet that they took your order with. Like, it's still pretty common here in North America for the server to take your order with like a pad and paper. Like, that is absolutely still a thing. And it was just this like kind of, small town USA vibe that they had going on. And no, they were like, they were on it. They were very high tech, and like their app allowed them to, put in customizations and notes on the order, which is not something to be taken for granted. Not all of the interfaces allow that. So I was impressed. I'm apparently pronouncing the name so wrong. Centralia? I don't know. Whatever.
Who knows?
Who cares? I'm never going back. No, I'm kidding. We actually had a wonderful time. We did a little glass blowing workshop, and we made our own blown glass bowls and bubbles and stuff. And we went to Great Wolf Lodge, which is fine. The kids had a great time.
Then good enough.
Great time.
Mission accomplished.
2.5 days was exactly the right amount of time to be there.
There's constantly places where I'm stunned at how far behind they are tech wise. Like places that still take orders, and I don't mean for food. I mean for like products that you're expecting to pick up in an amount of time later on pen and paper. Like there was a wedding I went to, and I had to get a suit for it, and it was like in the wedding party, so you all get the same suit or whatever. So I went to the place that we're getting the suit from, and they just wrote everything down. Yeah, and then they gave the stuff to the wrong people. Yeah. And they gave the wrong stuff. And I'm like, this probably could have been avoided.
I remember the story. If you had digitized everything in the first place.
Yeah. Yep. Like, my goodness. Oh, well.
Luke, what are your thoughts on test-driven development? Do you have any other preferred methods to ensure your team delivers reliable, high-quality code?
The beta site. Test-driven development. Having some tests is really good. I think having tests for absolutely everything is only realistic in a good way for like absolutely under no circumstance can anything go wrong ever or people die type of scenarios. I don't think it makes any sense for a website unless like that website, if something went poorly, someone would die, which maybe that exists. I don't know, but it's definitely not Floatplane. I do not want our devs doing test-driven development. Yeah.
The last one I've got for you today.
Trying to brainstorm this one. I got nothing.
You got nothing?
Conrad, why have test-driven development when you can have users?
Yeah, release on every Friday before a WAN show into production.
Oh, I got one.
Okay. What product do you think was absolutely ruined by a company philosophy of bad faith, toxic company relationship with its consumers?
Every Blizzard product. Boom. Mic drop. We're done here.
All right.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't disagree.
See you later. Next week, same bad time, same bad channel.
Oh, that is actually it. Okay. Bye. I didn't realize it was done.
And there it goes. Anonymous up front. Coming up in the rear, we've got Joshua. And they're gone.
People like them tracksuits.
Still alive?
I think so.
Put it back. Put it back. Put it back. The show's not over. I have a gift for you.
What?
That I saved to give you on the show.
Okay.
You're gonna really like it.
All right.
Here you go. Don't read it.
Don't read it.
Yeah, just open it.
You want me to open it?
Yeah, just open it. Just open it. Okay, hold on. Hold it up. Have you never done an unboxing video before in your life? Good Lord. Okay, you could read it maybe.
Spaceborne computer. And then there's an altitude and then at 17,500 miles per hour. Are these flown patches?
Can you just finish opening it for crying out loud? God, you suck at this.
Sticker of the same thing?
Okay.
Very cool. I know where that's going to go. Another sticker. My computer is Spaceborne, International Space Station, HPE Spaceborne Computer -2. How much of this do I read out loud? Any of it?
Whatever you want. I don't care.
Subject, return of official... On behalf of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, I am pleased to certify that these items were flown on board the Cygnus vehicle and transferred to the ISS over the period of May 24th, 2018 through July 2nd, 2018. While docked to ISS, these items traveled more than 29.9 million miles. This is a flown patch. That is so sick.
I can't take full credit for this. This was gifted to me when I went down and shot that video for HP Enterprise. So,
wow.
Realistically, I knew you would appreciate it far more than I would. So,
I used to watch a lot of the footage when a lot of these names were on the ISS. So that's I recognize the name. That is very cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, 100% regifted Ginger Kid LMAO. But for real. Like, look, I could put this in my library. Like, realistically, my policy, and you've seen me do this, is that I don't accept anything. Not because I consider it an ethical issue if I take water bottle swag or whatever, but because I don't need more stuff. I'm at a stuff limit in my life, and so I don't collect things. I don't like acquiring stuff.
1 second.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm alive.
I'm gonna at least mute his mic. Dan and I are both trying to mute his mic at the same time. So I don't really take stuff, but this one was something that I was like, okay, this is actually like the coolest thing ever. And while I don't need to put it in a collection of stuff that I don't stuff, I knew Luke would be into it. So I accepted it because I was going to give it to you. So it's not really a regift in that case. It's the way that I see it.
Oh.
Uh-oh, what now? Okay, see you later.
Nothing, but see ya. Bye. This is very cool. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. Oh, God, you're going to run it again? Sure, fine, whatever.
I have to. He said bye. It's contractually obligated.
I actually was maybe going to steal one of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.